Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rapid Reviews. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of new games to us. Let's get to it.
That's right. It's time to talk about some games we've been
Did I say
playing.
relax reviews?
You said rapid reviews.
Oh, man, I meant relax reviews.
But we're
Sorry.
going to rapidly, while relaxed,
Yes.
review some games today.
Yeah, because we used to do a monthly review thing called Rapid Reviews. We talk about every single game we played, and we kind of just got a little tired of doing that. And so
We're old now.
we decided somewhat recently we want to do like a more relaxed ones and mostly just talk about the new games we've played, and even then just mostly talk about games that we kind of want to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're like, instead of doing it every month, we're gonna wait till we've played like 30 to 50 new games, and then we'll do a relaxed review. So we're not gonna rush through them like we used to because they were always long anyway. So we're like, we might as well just
Our rushing was not very fast.
just appreciate that we're just not going to go very fast. So yeah, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of games we played. We went to Spielhaven in Iceland.
Yes, we did.
Recently got to play a whole bunch of games there. We went to BGG Con recently. Got to play a whole bunch of new games there.
It's been a heck of a first half of the year, man.
Indeed. So
been
we got
busy.
50 games we're going to talk about. I'm pretty sure almost all of them are new. There might be one or two in here that we've played
Mostly,
before.
or at least it'd been a long, long time since we
Yes.
played it, kind of thing.
All right, Mike, so these also aren't any kind of particular order. We're just going to kind of talk about them. So grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whatever, sit back, relax. If you're at work, I hope you're having a good day at work. Listen up, and we'll talk about some games. Mikey, talk about Double Seven.
Double Seven. This is a game that I've been playing on Board Game Arena, and I've showed to a few people. This is a game where you have these tiles with different animals on them, and you are trying to play them down in front of you into families. So, all the foxes together and all the squirrels together and things like that. So you're going to be drawing a couple tiles to start your turn into your hand and then playing them down if you have two or more, or you can add to a family if you already have, the elk or whatever. But what's really fun is there's a lot of player interaction, but none of it will necessarily hurt the other player. So one thing you can do is you can swap families. If I have, a group of 3 of a type of animal and they have a group of 3 of another type of animal, I can just swap those. So they're not losing anything. They're just getting a different type of animal.
Interesting.
But I might do that because it's like, okay, I've got these 3 elk, but I have a fox here. Let me swap with that fox family and then add that to that family, because every tile you get played will be worth a point at the end of the game. And then if you make a group of 7 or more of one type of animal, you get like a double 7 token, which will be worth a bonus point. And the game will end once someone has done that twice. They'll get a double seven thing, which is worth 2 points and stuff. So it's ultimately just trying to get as many things played as you can. It's very light, very simple, but I just enjoy the fact that you can mess with each other, but it's always a net zero for that player, but it could probably help you. And so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
For like a game like this, you can be a little cheeky, but it's not like mean per se. There's these clovers, which are wild, and you can put them in and add them to a group. But if someone had like a squirrel family over there and a clover, and I had a squirrel, I can add that squirrel to their family and take the clover. You can basically replace it, which is now nice because now I have a wild. But again, they didn't lose anything.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's one I want to pick up because I've only played on Board Game Arena, but it looks like it's got like nice chunky tiles and stuff. So I think it'll be like really nice to play, but a good kind of like light family weight game. I like it a lot. It's really fun.
Cool.
Very
Awesome.
breezy.
Next up is going to be Crazy Carts. This is one that I played at Spielhaven. I played with a wonderful group of people that we got to play with a little bit here and there while we were there. It was awesome. Crazy Carts itself was cool. It's interesting. It was a bit too long is the main problem with it. But Crazy Carts is a racing game where you are a duo of some fantasy race. There's like goblins, there's like elves, there's like dwarves and stuff like that. And you're playing in teams, like two-person teams.
Right.
And basically one person is going to get to control like the speed, all that different kind of stuff. And one person's controlling the steering, but you're not really talking to each other.
Okay.
And there's also certain powers that each kind of race is going to have. And you're basically trying to get to the end of this board, and then the board will kind of reset, and you get to the second board, and then that's the end of the race.
Okay.
It kind of feels like it should just be one of those boards. My only gripe with the game was the fact that it felt a little too long.
Could house roulette easily.
We were also playing a full game, which I think was like 8 players, because again, you have like 4 teams, and at a con, and everything at cons takes longer.
Yeah.
So I do want to try it again. I have no idea how available or if this game is available at all. But it was fun. It was cool. It was that interesting thing where like you're not generally sitting next to your partners, and it's like yeah. And so basically like it's kind of a programming game where you have your board, and you on the board there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's like if you're the person doing the kind of steering, you're only putting cards down in like 3 and 5 or 3 and 4 or something like that, and the other person is putting them down there, and then you basically reveal. And then you have to go through the whole thing. So it's that thing where you're like, you can shoot each other, so you're doing that kind of stuff,
wow.
turning, and it just kind of ends up creating all this chaos. It's really, really fun, really silly, that kind of like, the Thunder Road kind of racing games where like things aren't really going your way. You're moving into each other, bumping each other, you're shooting each other, all this different kind of stuff. You're getting like this different powers, or rather, you're getting this power level. You're kind of going up this track. Once that hit the 10, you get to do this kind of special thing. It was really fun. It was really cool. Just a tad too long. I kind of wish it was like 1.5 races instead of 2 full races, because we kind of got the first one. I was like, okay, cool, that was fun. They're like, oh no, we now have to reset and go through like kind of a slightly longer race. And I kind of wish it ended up the first one, but it was still ultimately quite fun. And that was Crazy Karts. Again, I don't remember who made it. I have no idea how available it is or where you can get it, but it was a cool little time.
You guys were having a good time.
Yeah, if you like that kind of chaos, in terms of like, well, I'm not really going to control what's happening.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to get into it and be like, yeah, this is going to be wild and not work very well, and that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Next would be Bunny Kingdom Town.
Bunny Kingdom Town. This is a 2-player version of Bunny Kingdom, which is, I think, coming out now. I've been trying to see if I could spot it in person, but I haven't yet, so I don't know if it's quite out, but it's on Board Game Arena. This is a follow-up to Bunny Kingdom, which is like a card drafting game where you're going to be essentially you're going to be drafting plots of land to put little bunnies out onto. You're making these groups. And you want to have, as many different types of resources, and it multiplies times the size of your kind of cities that you're building. So this is, a 2-player version that has some of that DNA, but it gets rid of the card drafting. And now there's going to be a tableau of 5 tiles, which are going to be building types. And you're going to be drafting 1 tile per turn. So there's 4 rounds, and then in each of the rounds, you're either going to be drafting 3 or 2 of the tiles. It goes back and forth. So you'll each get, for sure, 10 in the game. Excuse me. But now you're drafting these tiles, and then there are going to be 5 spaces on this shared board where essentially you can build. And one of them will always be free. One will cost 1 coin, 2, 3, and 4 coins. And you're going to be trying to make these different groups, which some buildings are going to have stars on them, which are sort of a multiplier. There's, I think, 5 or 6 building types. So if you add to a building, you'll trigger that town and score points. And you'll get points for the amount of stars in that particular city you just built, multiplied times the amount of types of buildings. So if you have a bunch of the same type of building, it doesn't really help you that much. There's a bunch of tiles that have one-time benefits. They won't add stars and stuff, but they might give you some coins. The resources can be really tight. There are request cards, which are also from Bunny Kingdom, which will give you endgame points for how you built stuff and certain resources and all sorts of things like that. It's really fun, man. I really like it a lot. I like the shared kind of board. It's much smaller than Bunny Kingdom, which of course can accommodate more players and stuff, but it's, you're kind of on top of each other and jockeying for position. And you can really kind of go in different directions. Like you can try to build like a big old mega city that's every time I add to it, I'm scoring
Mega
like
City
30
1?
points. Mega City 1 shouts out. Or I can try to focus on, my request cards and try to get as many of those as I can get, because you get 1 per round, but there are ways to get more. And yeah, you can do some stuff. I really want to pick this one up.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
You've been really enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's just different enough from Bunny Kingdom that it gives you some cool stuff. So I think there's room enough for both games to exist. And again, this one doesn't have card drafting at all. It's more about drafting tiles and then choosing when to build them and stuff like that. But I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, awesome. Next up is going to be Frosted Blooms. I really, really liked this game. You had played it beforehand.
Yeah.
But we got to play it at BGG Con with our dear friend Charlie.
I made the rules video for it.
That's right, you did. Yeah, for BGG. Yeah. Yeah, this is a really it's Bruno Catala and who was the other one?
I think it's Madovic LeBlanc.
That's right. And yeah, so this is a polyomino tile laying game where you're going to be drafting out these tiles, kind of like patchwork style, where you're getting tiles are in kind of a circle, and you can grab one farther up, and you're placing things on them.
Yeah, you have to place coins on everything you skip over, essentially.
Exactly. So you're kind of grabbing stuff like that, and then you're putting it in your tableau, and on these are going to be water and then 3 different kinds of flowers. And in your hand, you're also going to have a certain amount of scoring cards, and every time you place a tile, you will have to play one of your scoring cards. And those scoring cards are going to be a mix of scoring a single type of flower, usually for like 2 points per, or there'll be like 2 different kinds of flowers that each score for like 1 point per, or you can score water as well. And so basically you'll put the tile down somewhere in your kind of ever-growing tableau of flowers and water, and then basically you'll play a scoring card and you'll score based off of that tile and like how big, like if you're scoring like the white flowers, you'll score how many white flowers in the biggest group that's touching this tile, because every single tile will have water and every kind of flower on it. So you'll always be able to score a group of it. And that's mostly what you're doing. But there's also these little people, and then there are bigger and bigger buildings, like a barn, there's like a big old windmill. And you get to put those things in your kind of growing thing of tiles if you leave gaps. And depending on how big and the shape of the gap, that will dictate what you get to put in that kind of void. And you get points for doing that, more and more points for the bigger thing, which was really interesting and really fun because it kind of goes against your intuition with polyomino games. With polyomino games, you generally want to have things perfectly matching so that you don't have any gaps. But in this one, you actively want the gaps. And so it kind of broke my brain trying to like build things in a way to create these gaps so that I can then put this big old windmill there. And it's just gorgeous and stuff. I really, really liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's really fun. We had... I'd played it on Board Game Arena and stuff outside of making the rules video, which wasn't our copy of the game. But we played a bunch of it at BGG Con, and then us, Charlie, we all picked it up as well because we're like, this is great. And again, the production is really nice. There's like, kind of like, I don't know, shiny.
It's like kind of like a gold, it's almost like glitter.
Yeah, it's got some like the frosted blooms are shimmering in the morning light, and it's just
very pretty. Yes,
very pretty. I like it a lot. I totally agree. Great, like kind of go to like lighter, cozier game for now is like Frosted Blooms is like pretty choice.
I really, really enjoyed it. Next up is gonna be First Giants. First Giants. I got to play. Mikey hasn't played yet. This is by Space Cowboys, and I don't know. I will say this. With a lot of these games, like we've only gotten to play them once or twice, a couple times, usually at like a single player count. This is one I played it to with Charlie, and neither of us liked it. It was one of those things where it's like, it felt very like, it's fine. But nowadays with how many games come out a year and how many of those games are good, even great or outstanding, a game just being like, it's fine. Like I would play it again. But I don't know, it's like that's kind of not enough nowadays. But this is a game where you are essentially setting up exhibits in a museum of paleontology exhibits. So you're getting bones and things like that from all these various kinds of dinosaurs. So there's kind of like a tableau out there that you can purchase from, and you're purchasing with this kind of like amber. And each of those dinosaurs...
Amber is the color of your energy?
What was that?
Amber is the color of your energy? Whoa! Sorry.
What?
Don't worry about it, man.
No, I need you to continue.
Amber by 311. Who? People in the chat are going off right now. They're loving it. Amber is the color of your energy. Whoa!
I don't know what that is.
What?
I've never heard of that.
All right, man.
Wow.
Well, it's worth derailing the video.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely worth time. This is relaxed.
This is relaxed reviews, folks.
We do the hell we want. But nonetheless, so you're getting these dinosaurs, and they're all kind of in these families, and there's going to be like a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 of each of these kind of families, right? So when you get them, you can kind of put them down in your tableau, and you have this like little bar, and then when they're above your tableau thingy, they all have like powers, and when they're above there, their powers are in effect. But you can also, at some points, take ones from the top of your board and then flip them over and put them as displays, which is what's going to gain you points. But you lose those powers, and you generally want like complete sets of things. Like you want, for the red ones, like the red suit, you want like a 1, 2, and 3, because there's also these kind of goals that you're racing for. The first one to get like a full set of red will get some extra points or whatever. So you're kind of going for those things. It was fine. We played it at 2. It felt not good at 2. Yeah. It's one of those games where I'm like, this maybe I need to play at 3 or 4. But at the same time, we play almost exclusively 2-player. Now with like Jimmy, you get to play some more 3-player. But it's like if a game is not great at 2, it just isn't
Yeah.
worth it for us to have a lot of times.
That simply might be a situation where like, okay, that's not a game for us then
Yeah.
because
It was
we probably
fine.
won't have the player count for it.
At 2 players, there's like a big deck of cards, but a lot of times you're like, man, I need a purple 2 to complete this set, and it just doesn't come up. There is a nice tension where you like one comes up, you're like, I need that one, and then like someone will take it, you're like, oh dang it. So it's got like kind of low level tension, which is nice. But I don't know, I thought it was fine. I would play it again. I'll try, give it another shot if it comes to me, but I'm not really seeking it out. I thought it was okay at best.
There you go. Hey, it
Might talk
happens.
about Slambo.
Slambo, baby. This is a card game where you are sumo wrestling. And you are,
Hell
it's
yeah.
a tug of war kind of game where you're going to have cards that are either going to have positive or negative values. And like in sumo wrestling, you want to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't want to go flying off to the side.
That's just theme, baby.
That's theme, baby. So the way they do this is you're going to have basically the running number, which you don't want to go below 1 or above 10. You can be on those numbers, but you don't want to go above or below those things. So if the count is currently at 7, I can play, a 1, 2, or 3 to get up to that upper echelon, or I can play a card in the negative to bring it back down toward the middle. So there's this interesting thing that I do think is actually kind of rad and thematic, where I want to be on the edge because I want my player to hopefully not have a card they can legally play.
Yeah.
Because if they get and they throw it off the thing, they gain shame.
Shame.
And that's bad. And that's one step closer for my victory.
One step close to the edge.
And I'm about to break.
That's from
but
311. Check
there
it
you go.
out.
Boom. Check them out. Boom. So you want to kind of try to push people to the edge, but you need to make sure that if they're keeping it at the edge too, you also can legally stay alive and
Would you say that
play.
everyone's edging?
Everyone's edging in this
Okay,
one, man. All right, you want to live on that edge. You're halfway there, living on a prayer.
Yep.
It's really fun because it's just this hand manipulation game where you're playing out your cards, trying to stay alive. If it gets to the end, we've each played all our cards, and now we're still in the middle. Then basically we add a shame to the pile, and then we go again. So the next round could be like worth 2 shame. And I think if someone gets 3, they're out or something like that. It's really fun. I really like the whole. Just trying to, play cards in such a way that I always have something that'll keep me safe.
Right.
And then the numbers might go up to like 8 or 9 or something. So there could be big swings of like where you are within that kind of range of acceptability. And again, I think that's cool because in sumo, like you are trying to, get someone close to the edge, but then maybe turn and like get them, to throw off their momentum. So it does feel pretty darn thematic for a completely abstract card game. I was like, this is actually kind of great.
Awesome.
And it's really fun. I think you can play it higher than 2 players, but I really like it as a 2-player
it makes
game
sense
because
as a
it
2-player
feels
game.
most like what sumo
Although
would
sumo
be.
battle royale would be terrifying.
That'd be, oh my God, it's just so scary. Just stand in the middle and just have them all go poof and just smush you. Like turtles when they go back and they all go super shelled in.
That's how they kill a guy.
Yeah.
They killed that man.
Yeah, that was a homicide. We all watched that happen and we're like, that's hilarious. It can't be murder. Leo didn't use his swords. You're like, I mean, yeah.
It is funny. The Ninja Turtles are such a funny concept because they all have, with the exception of Donatello, although like a staff, if you hit someone in the head, can still kill someone.
They're
But the
dead.
rest of them have like Leo just has a katana.
2.
And
Double
they just like
katanas.
somehow never kill anybody.
That shows because they're ultimate restraint. Okay, that's the ninja way.
It's so funny to me. Even as a kid, I'm like, wow, they don't use these weapons.
That's why Leo always conveniently throws him up to do a kick. So that
Yeah.
way he's like, he doesn't have swords in his
Exactly.
hand because.
Put your favorite Ninja Turtle in the chat. It's Donatello. Thank you. Wow. Are you Leo? Who are you, Leo?
Here's the thing. We don't have time for this, man. The point is that I will say that who you choose as a turtle, I think will largely be dependent on where you are in the birth order of your family.
Yeah, that's true.
I always felt Leonardo because I'm the oldest.
Yeah,
I'm the
it's
oldest son. So like, I think I'm actually more of a Michelangelo in real life.
We all are, let's be honest.
But
yeah.
Leo was the go-to because they're the leader. They're the oldest. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a similar note, Danup was really fun.
Danup was really fun. Danup is a card game by the person who made Scout.
Yeah, and it's Scout-ish.
It is Scout-ish, where you are
Trying to get rid of your cards.
trying to get rid of your cards.
And they're flipping.
And those cards are flipping. Now, in this one, you can rearrange your hand, so it doesn't have that.
Thank
and
God.
you're only ever playing sets of the same value. But you can, of course, play, 3 2s if you only have 2 1s or 2 4s or whatever. I played more cards.
Yeah.
You will have to recollect your cards, and every time you have to get cards back from the table, they flip over.
Yeah,
So
which is interesting. Because sometimes you're playing like, I want this to lose.
Yes, 'cause
I
I'm
need this
trying
to flip because I
to-
don't have like 5 8s or whatever, right?
trying to get it flipped and stuff. So there's that. There's also like if someone played, a number of 3s or whatever, and I have a 3, I can actually add to a person's set, and stuff. So there's all these ways to play your cards, but you are trying to, unlike Scout where you can play, runs or sets and stuff, and you're trying to like manage your hand. Here you're trying to really manage how things get flipped so you can have a bunch of one number to be able to play as big a hand as possible as you try to get rid of your cards. Yeah, I'm terrible at it.
I'm not good at it.
I'm like, what do I do here? How do I make this strategic? But I really enjoy it and I want to pick it up for sure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I constantly am going back and forth whether or not I like trick taking or like card shedding games more. I might like card shedding games more. I really enjoy games where you're trying to get rid of all your cards. There's a bunch of them. I pretty much like them all. They're just very, very fun. And Denup was great. I enjoy Scout. I would need to play Denup more. It'll be interesting to see which one I like more. I really love Scout because I like the struggle of like, here's your hand of cards. All you can do is flip it, but you can't rearrange it. I love that puzzle.
I played Scout a handful of months ago now. It's great.
Me
man.
too. I
It's
played
been
it
a
somewhat
long
recently.
time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's really great.
Yeah, I played it somewhat recently too, and I was just like, God, Scout is so good. It had been a while. But nonetheless, Denup is very fun. It's, again, similar vein, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Yeah. Flamecraft Duel. One of the coolest productions.
Duels, yes, a very nice deluxe-y production for not much money. Like that was my main takeaway was I'd heard a solo or 2-player version of not version
Not
of
really
Flamecraft.
version, themed,
It's in
yes.
the Flamecraft world, very different game. And then I saw it at like our local game store, and it was like $20, and it's like a nice production. I was like,
that
oh
must
my
have been some
gosh.
kind of weird deal because I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, I was like, this is great. So I hope it's cheap like that for other people because it's very nice. This is a game where you are going to be drawing out of a bag these dragon tokens, which are the types of dragons in Flamecraft. There's like a meat one and an iron one and a diamond one. And then you're going to be playing your dragon out onto this shared central board, which is also just the box opening up, which is cool. And then you're going to fire up that dragon. They each have a different power they do. This might allow you to move other dragons around, add extra dragons onto the board, and things like that. And you are going to try to complete these shop cards that you have, which are going to be completed if you make a certain pattern, usually 3 dragons in a line or in a clump, of certain, a certain mix of the types of dragons. So you're trying to manipulate the central board to be able to complete these shop cards, as many as you can. You could do up to 2 on a turn. You have 2 at all times that you're working on. And that's really kind of all it is like trying to use the powers of your dragons, which sometimes chain into other dragons and using their powers, changing around the board. You can stack dragons on top of each other. You can have up to 3 discs. So even if a certain middle space is taken, I could potentially cover that and make it be the pattern that I want. And of course, my opponent is trying to do different stuff with that. So every time I do something, Karen would be like, really?
Really?
I'm like, this is how I need the dragons to be right now to complete my shops. And yeah, it's really fun. I like it. It's definitely more of a tactical, kind of abstract-y strategic experience than Flamecraft. Flamecraft is very, very light. So this gives you a little more to munch on. There's also fancy dragons, which give you sort of, I think you use 3 in a game, and they give you sort of powers that you can spend your coins to use. So I like that because it changes things up from game to game, and you can solo it as well. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, I really want to try it.
Great. Seriously, fantastic production.
Oh, yeah.
Acrylic pieces. It's so nice.
It's
and
crazy
it was so
nice.
affordable. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. Next would be No Loose Ends. This is a trick-taking game we played at BGG Con.
Very interesting trick-taking game.
Yeah, I mean, there's every year there's more and more trick-taking games. It's astonishing how they keep thinking of them, but they sure do. We'll talk about a couple more throughout this. But this is an interesting one where you are basically you're a criminal, a filthy criminal, and you're basically trying to have no loose ends. You're basically trying to have
cover your tracks.
No evidence left over from your scene of your crime. You're doing that through trick-taking. Basically, at the beginning of every round, you are going to choose cards from your hand to put face up as evidence. So like, it'll be like a gray 1, a yellow 5, a red 2, whatever. These kinds of things out there. And the more you put out, the higher your score can be.
Yeah,
but
that's
you
your
don't,
bid essentially.
Yeah, that's kind of like your bid. But you don't want, you need to cover them all up because that's all the evidence that's out there. But if you have it all covered up, you'll score a lot more points. And then you're playing trick taking, and whenever you win a trick, is it only the highest card that won the trick?
Yeah, I think it's whoever wins the trick can basically use their card
Yes.
to cover up one of their evidences.
Exactly. So it's the card that you use to win the trick.
Yeah, there's one exception to that with, I think, if everyone plays offsuit or something, you can choose any card.
Something
but
like that, yeah.
generally, it's the card you play.
And then to cover up evidence, you either have to match the number of the card or the color of the card. So if it's a gray 1, I can cover that up with a 1 or a gray card. And so you're specifically trying to not just win tricks, you're trying to win very specific tricks and rather win with very specific cards so that you can cover them up. So as you're choosing at the beginning of the round what cards to put out as evidence, you really have to look at the rest of your cards and be like,
can I cover
can
this
I
card
actually
up?
cover these up? And it was really interesting. It's kind of on that verge, at least for me, where I'm in this kind of zone with trick taking where like I like trick taking games that do something cool and different, but there's a point where I feel like they start getting too complicated.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one is right on that line of being too much, but it didn't quite cross it for me.
Sure, because you bounce off like Cat in the Box and
It's too much. There's too much
Origin
crap
stuff,
going
like
on in that game.
Origin story. You're like, it's just too many
There's
things.
too much stuff going on.
Sure.
This one was right on the line, but I did enjoy it. It was hard though.
Yeah, it's tough. It's cool because you don't have to be perfect to score points. Every piece of evidence you end up covering will be worth 2 points. Every loose end, every piece that isn't covered, I think is -1 point. And if you win tricks and you can't cover stuff, I think they're -1 point.
Yeah,
if
something
you
like
get
that.
everything perfect, I think you get like a bonus 3 points, and
Yeah,
you
it's
can
like maybe 3 or
snitch,
5.
which is like go nil, and I think it's worth like 5 or 10 points
Yeah.
or something.
What's tough to do.
But yeah, it's really fun.
It was fun.
And I agree. I think it's at the line where like there's a couple extra things going on, but it's not too much.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun. I think it's
Yeah,
a
I thought
really
it was
cool
cool.
one, and the bidding system is really interesting. Of like, okay, what cards? I can't just play any old card.
Yeah.
You know, I'm confident I can win a bunch of tricks,
Right.
but like, which tricks and how and what and how do I get these things covered is really cool.
Right, yeah, I liked it a lot. It was cool.
Yeah.
Next would be Duel for Cardia, which you had played, right?
I'd played, but you hadn't.
I hadn't
Yeah.
played. I played this one of our followers at BGGCon. We were trying to get a game of Speakeasy played, settled for Duel for Cardia because we ended up not
Basically
having
the
time.
same.
Basically the exact same game. This is a 2-player card game. It's called Duel. And yeah, this is a game where you each have the same deck of cards, or you can kind of deck build with other cards in the game. But basically, it's a head-to-head game where you're each going to play a card. Whoever plays the higher card will win that particular little fight or whatever, and then whoever's the lower card gets to do the thing on the card. Kind of a classic thing.
Yeah,
in,
always love that.
In these kinds of games, where like that interesting thing where you're like, ooh, you know, if you can win, or rather, if you can lose with like a 13, that's going to be really powerful.
The
'cause
higher
it's hard
numbers,
to
of
lose.
course, have higher powers, but they're difficult to win with.
Of course, yeah. I think one of them is just like you win.
Yeah.
Because like it's like the highest card in the game, basically. So, and you play like basically 3 rounds. And what you're basically trying to do is you're trying to win 3 or win 5 things. But there's all these cards that kind of manipulate stuff. So there's cards that will change the value of other cards so that maybe you lost originally, but then you can increase the value with this other card. So now that means you now have won that one. There's ones where if you both play the same and you tie, no one wins it. There's a card that like basically a perpetual ability means you always win ties now. There's all these different kind of ways. And so you're just playing head to head, just straight up playing these cards. You both have the same cards. And it's just kind of like a little getting in each other's mind game. That was good. It's one of those things like I'm not really into head to head card games. I'll never truly enjoy them that much. So for me, I'm like, yeah, it was good. Like, but other people I know really love this game, and I'm like,
it's
oh yeah,
quick and stuff, which is nice. Like it's not a long
if
game.
you
so.
like these kinds of games, like head-to-head card games, I think it's outstanding. I'm just not into these kinds of games, so I was like, yeah, it's fine. But that's because like that's always going to be my reaction to these kinds of games. But I'm glad that I tried it because of the fact that it was so well regarded right now, and it's very, very simple. It's very, very easy. And then I'm sure as you get more into those other cards, it'll get even more interesting. But the base one was like cool, and it was fun, and it was interesting to be like, oh, what do I think they're going to do? Oh, I'm going to go now steal this one over here. It was good. I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
For that kind of game, it's about
Yeah.
as good as I can possibly like it because it's just not my kind of thing.
Totally agree.
What about Ipso? IPSO? Ipso?
Ipso facto. This is a game. It was alright. You're making a card pyramid, and your card pyramid starts off with all the cards face down, and there will be 2 cards available in the center of the table. You'll choose one and place it somewhere in this pyramid, and then the card that you put down, the face down card, then flips face up and becomes the new card in the market.
Right.
So you don't know what those things are going to be, and you're just filling in your card pyramid within each row. The card values have to be ascending, and there's different colors of cards, and they have different kind of number ranges. I can't remember the specifics.
1 to 2046.
There you go. They have different number ranges, so the rules are that within each row there have to be ascending things. They can reset from row to row, and if you manage to make an entire row of one color, which is not easy to do, every card will be worth 2 points. So obviously, if you can do that on the base,
Right.
that's going to be worth a lot of points. That's obviously the hardest to do that on, but you can make them worth a lot. If there's multiple colors, which is more likely, each card will be worth 1 point apiece, and then there's certain cards that have stars on them, and those are just worth a point no matter what.
Right.
So you're trying to complete rows and stuff so you can score them at the end of the game. And the game is just going to end once I think someone fills up their entire pyramid or a certain amount. So that's really all the game is like, you're kind of dealing with the fact that like when I reveal a card from my pyramid because I'm replacing it, then like that's a new card that comes out. So you don't really know what cards are going to be available and stuff, but it's a very light game. I play it on Board Game Arena and stuff. It's totally fine. I play it on Board Game Arena. I probably don't need to own it ever because it's sort of a luck fest. Like the cards may or may not ever just come up into the market. You don't have a lot of choice there. But it's fun to try to go for like, I'm gonna get this one row of all pinks and stuff. And there's the kind of welcome to thing, with the ascending number. So I might put this kind of middling, 45 or something in the middle of the row, but then I got to build, on either side around it. So there's like some fun little things, but it's a little light game. It's all right.
Cool. Next up is going to be Sea Scroll. This is interesting because we did a playthrough of this on our channel, so you can watch it at 2 players, and we were like, oh, I actually liked it more than I was kind of expecting at 2 players, but I bet it's going to be really, really good at like the full player count. And then we played it at BGG-Con at like 5, and I was just like, I think I liked this better at 2.
Yeah, I think maybe 3 or 4 would be the sweet spot.
I think 3 is going to be the money spot for it. This is an interesting game. It's a set collection game where there's basically going to be
different types of fishies.
Different types of fishies where you're going to be you're drawing 2 cards, right?
Yeah, you're drawing two cards and then discarding one card.
And then discarding one card into kind of like this tableau in the middle of the board. And basically, if you discard a 7, there's already 7s out there. You'll basically put it into a stack. And then 3 times in the game, you can take a stack from the middle and put it down in front of you. But you can only do it 3 times. And basically, there are cards 1 through 10. Oh, not 1 through 3 through 10. 3 through 10.
3 or 4 through 12, I think. And it depends on the player count.
That's
our
true.
player
That's
count
a
is
good point.
10. Full player count is 12. But there's different types of fish.
Exactly. And there's like 3 3s, 4 4s, 5 5s, 6 6s, that kind of thing, all the way up to 12s. And so you're trying to get the majority is basically, and they're going to be worth their points. So if you get the 12s, you just got 12 points, that kind of thing, kind of like New York Slice style. But so, if there's like 3 7s out there, you're like, well, I'm going to take those 7s because if you have a 7 in your hand, you now have 4 7s. You have the majority. Because at the end of the game, once all the cards are gone, you will basically take everything in your hand and then put everything into kind of rows and see how much you have. So you get to count the stuff in your hand and the stuff down on the table. And then you're just getting points for majorities. It's funny because at 2, you can kind of like, when you choose to take from the middle, what majorities you think you might have, because every game there's also a certain amount of cards that are just not in the game. So you don't have perfect information.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked it. We played it at 2, and then we played it at 4, and everyone was kind of like, including me. And so I'm like, oh, maybe this is like, you just have more control in a smaller player count game. So I think this game is going to shine at 3, but I did really like it at 2.
Did we play it at 4 or 5? Do you remember?
I thought it was at 5.
Yeah, I think it was at 5. It's one of those things where it's at 5, you're like, it's almost...
You have like no control.
You have no control, really. By the time it comes back around you, things have changed a big bad way. And it was also sort of easy to still tell like what people had. Right. And so I was just like, well, I'm not going for 10s. I can see you two fighting over that, so I'm not going to go for that.
Yeah.
And, I agree. I think like 3 might be the sweet spot. There are also cards that can change the rules of the game that I really want to mess with because some of them are really wild.
Yeah.
They may or may not be great, but I agree. I was just like, oh yeah, maybe at either extreme it's not at its best, but we probably did like the 2-player
Yeah,
experience better,
I
which was
really liked it,
surprising.
though, and it's got really great art.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I actually liked it, but then kind of didn't like it again. It was a weird one, so got to give it some more.
Go figure.
Next up is going to be Sanibel. Sanibel was fine. Yeah, I don't know. This is
Why don't you like shells, man?
I don't know. I don't like shells at all, man. This is a game where you are filling a bag full of seashells. That's what you're doing, and you're filling them kind of Tetris style. So basically, there's gonna be kind of a big main board in the middle. It's gonna have kind of areas, and each of those areas is gonna be these shells, and they're gonna be kind of like diamond patterned. That's what the tiles are, and your bag is just a bunch of like diamonds, kind of all stacked on top of each other. So you're basically like whoever's farthest back on the track, kind of like patchwork style, you're going to get to choose shells from that area, and then you kind of move forward, and then kind of you're leapfrogging each other like that. And then periodically throughout the game, more and more shells are going to come out onto the boards. They're kind of resupplying, and you're basically going to go around the board doing that. And yeah, you're getting these shells. All the shells will score like differently. There's like these orange shells where you basically you'll score a certain amount of points for however many different kinds of orange shells you have in a group. So if you have a group of them touching each other, you want all the orange shells there to be different shells. There's ones where you want like pairs of them, a whole bunch of pairs everywhere. There's ones where you want all the same thing, kind of classic-y, those kinds of things. And then you also have specific scoring goals where like me, I wanted to have a certain amount of like single empty spaces in my bag.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to build around it. So I had these like singular empty spaces around. I got a certain amount of points based off of how many of those I had. And I had one of my other ones was I wanted like the purple shells on the corners, on the sides of my bag.
Sure.
So I wanted them touching the outside. So you also have goals you're going for like that. I don't know. It was fine. It was just like both of us were just like, like, I don't know.
It sounds interesting. Like the things you're saying
It was
sound
just
interesting, but it just didn't quite come together.
No, it's not even that it didn't come together. It's just like there's just so many of these games, I feel like now.
Yeah.
And like
You find it offensive when people leave their little skeletons laying around.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. That's what it is.
Such a non-shell
But it's like
guy.
it's really, really pretty. It's got a great theme. Like it's very breezy, fun theme. I don't know. I just thought it was fine. And again, it's kind of Tetris-y style. So like when you get a tile, you can't just put it anywhere. It has to basically go down into your bag. So I was like really excited for that. And the tiles are like different sizes and stuff, so they don't fit together always perfectly. You kind of have to move together. But it just kind of became the whole time was like, I'd rather just play a Hi-Ow. If I'm playing like a Tetris-y style game.
To the point that we did play
To the point where
Hi-Ow
we
later in
did
that
play a
con.
Hi-Ow. And I'm like, kind of like, I was just like, I would just rather play a Hi-Ow if I'm going to play like a Tetris-y game. This game is more complicated than a Hi-Ow. I don't know. I just thought it was fine. Both of us were just kind of like, all right. I don't know. It's just like, it's pretty. I would play it again, but like, I am not going to seek it out. I thought it was just very much like, I don't know, there's lots of these kinds of games. And it's like, if you're going to have like a polyomino game, it's just kind of got to stand out. And something like Frosted Blooms did, this one didn't for whatever reason. And I don't know. I wasn't a massive fan of it.
Fair enough.
Vivo.
Vivo is a little trick taker that All Play has in their kind of tiny box line. This, I think, is a Japanese game originally, a trick taker, where you are playing music. There's 4 suits of cards, and each trick, there will be a card that comes out that says what kind of song you're playing. This might be a solo, a duet, a quartet, or the one that is 3. And this is going to be how many different suits must be in play for you to consider your card to be legal. So if it's a solo and someone leads with a red, it has to be red or you're off harmony, dude.
Right.
You're not on key.
Harmony, 1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Even a joint perfect afterwards.
That's how you know it's perfect, because we said it
That's
at the
how.
same time.
If you were like, are they actually brothers? That right there.
Yeah, the
will
timing of
absolutely.
that.
We stopped at the exact same time and both said perfect right afterwards. That is insane. So stupid. Why do you watch us?
Oh, man. The people are living for it, man. So you have to play within the rules. If it's a duet, there will be 2 suits that are to be played. So once those 2 are established, then those are the only 2. And there's this interesting thing where whoever plays the highest card, the highest legally played card, will get to keep their card and put it face down, and I believe it's worth 2 points. Whoever played the lowest card that is legally played gets to keep their card face up. and it's worth its face value.
Right.
So obviously that's going to be easier to do with like 1s and stuff like that. But if you can manage to do that with like a 4, that's worth 4 points. So there's this interesting thing of trying to follow the rules of the song you're playing in terms of what suits you can play. So it's not like classic trick taking must follow suit in that way. It's dictated by the type of song. But that whole kind of like trying to play a high-low card,
Yeah.
or a high enough card to win. And if you're not going to be able to do either, what cards do you ditch to try to, set up your hand for later? I really liked it a lot. I really want to pick this one up. It's just a cool kind of hand management type game. And you play over, 3 odd rounds or whatever it is. And it's got a little conductor dog on the cover, which I like. But I really dig the whole, this one's a duet. It's only 2 suits and things. And trying to mess with people where it's like, I have a whole bunch of green. So it's like, I'm going to lead with green because I'm guessing that someone, the next person plays white or whatever.
Right.
I'm going to hope that someone out there isn't going to be able to legally play. Because if you're off Harmony, it doesn't matter what card you play. You get nothing, man. Nothing. So it's a really fun game. I like it a lot. Really cool.
What about Waddle? That's another all-play game, isn't it?
This is a game where you are placing out penguins around these little fishing holes, the little breaks in the ice where the water is. You're going to be putting out these tiles to set up, and it's going to create these groups of these water areas. And they're going to be numbered, I think, 1 through 12. And you're going to go in order from the first numbered hex to the second to the third and so on. And going in turn, placing a penguin in one of the hexes that is surrounding that current number. So on a turn, you can either play a penguin down, or you can scout ahead. If you scout ahead, you're going to move your little marble to the next thing, which means you're going to be earlier in turn order once it shifts to the next number in order. So once the 1 is completely surrounded, we move on to 2 and things. So it's about that. It's just like, okay, at the end of the game, some of these things have fish on them that are worth points. And so at the end of the game, you will get those points if you have more penguins around that body of water than other players. So you're trying to play for that.
Get more fish.
But you're also trying to create a big waddle of penguins, which is a big connected group of penguins, which will be worth points as well. And the thing that's interesting is that if I scout ahead, or if everybody scouts ahead but one player, that next player has to place penguins on all of the remaining empty spaces around that number. And then you shift to the next number in the new turn order. And that's really all it is. It's just trying to get, your penguins surrounding the right bodies of water that are the most valuable, and then also trying to make big groups of your penguins. It's really simple, really fun. Again, all plays like crushed those like small box games. It's got a nice little thing where there's like these little marbles for the turn order, and if you take your turn, you move your marble to the top, and it kind of rolls back down. Purely unnecessary and just like fun to be like hee hee wee, and it goes, waddling on down the way. So it's a nice little touch, but I really liked it a lot. It's really fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, very light, very chill, but like a nice. Made me think of like, hey, that's my fish a little bit because penguins getting fish.
That's fair.
Not the same type of game, but
yeah, exactly.
Thematically.
Next one's gonna be Cloudspire. I've been playing some Cloudspire.
You've been playing it. You did a solo play it on our channel. Go watch it, and you also have played it since then recreationally, and you obviously played it a bunch in the run up to the filming.
Yeah, these kind of big chip theory games, we kind of have to play a bunch. We always try and play games before we cover them, but like these ones you have to like really because all the factions, if you're playing Too Many Bones, like they're all so different that you're like, I have to like know what I'm doing. Yeah. So I've been playing a bunch of Cloudspire, getting ready for this playthrough that we did, and then I've been playing it ever since. I don't know, man. I think Cloudfire is going to like rocket up my favorite games. I really, really, really like it. It's really great solo. I really want to show it to you co-op, but it's really like I get why, like this originally was supposed to be a competitive game more than anything. And they kind of had solo stuff and like co-op stuff, but it was kind of meant to be this competitive game. And it just kind of has turned into not that. There always is the competitive aspect of the game if you want it to be, but like they've really embraced like the solo and co-opness of this game. But this is a MOBA style game where you basically take a faction. All the factions are very, very different. Really play it like completely differently. And in a competitive game, you're basically trying to destroy the other player's fortress gates. In the solo and co-op games, you basically have goals that you're going for. Many times, one of them is destroying your opponent's fortress gate. but it's a MOBA style game, which stands for something. But I know what MOBA does.
Multiple oblong baddies around.
That's true. Gosh, if only, I love a good oblong baddie is great.
Baby.
But nonetheless, what it basically means is in a MOBA game, you have limited control over your troops. They're basically be kind of like automatically moving and doing stuff. So that's how this one is, where you're basically every round, you're going to be choosing a certain amount of your minions, and then you can also choose your heroes, and you're going to stack them up in a big old chip theory stack. And then they're going to deploy, and when they deploy, they have a certain amount of movement stack, and they have to move that certain amount of movement towards their mark. Your mark is almost always going to be your opponent's fortress gate. And so if they have 4 movement, they have to move 4 movement towards that thing. Now, you can choose to have them go like maybe here, then here, then here to slow them down a little bit, but you
Kind of
can't
steer them a little bit.
a little bit, but you can't choose to move them like less. They will move their full amount. You can maybe put slower people in front, which will slow down the faster ones. So it's this kind of puzzle you're doing, but again, it's MOBA. You're not really controlling them. They're just going. If they have like, and then after they move, if they can attack something, they must attack something. Now, if there's like multiple things to attack, you can then choose what they attack.
Sure.
But you can't be like, oh no, you're not going to attack. It's like, no, you don't have the choice.
But you would want to.
Generally,
attack,
yeah,
right?
almost always. Sometimes you might want a different unit to eliminate something or for various reasons or something. But yeah, for the most part, it's like you don't really get to choose. And so it's just this puzzle of like, what am I going to bring out? Because your opponent, and especially with the AI's case, you know what they're going to do because you put out their chips. You can see what they do with all their keywords and stuff. You kind of know where they're going to end up. So it's just this puzzle of like, how do you kind of keep things going? And then you have heroes, and your heroes, you can move them. So they have a certain move step, but you can move them kind of wherever they want. They can move like backwards. You can move them not their full amount. You can choose what they hit, all that different kind of stuff. But then on top of that, there are these spires around the board that you can put out. And so basically, after you move, if you're in range of any spires, they'll all fire upon you, and you can try to eliminate them, which is the whole spire thing. And
Can
again,
you put out your own spires?
yeah,
Is there like a
yeah.
tower
Everyone
defense
has
to it?
spires. So every faction has 3 heroes, usually a bunch of minions, and then usually 4 different kinds of spires. Wow. And then on top of that, your fortress can upgrade in all these different ways. It has a bunch of different like little tech trees. So again, like each faction's very different. And in the solo game, in the co-op game, the solo one, you basically have each faction has 4 scenarios for that faction. And then there's usually, I think, 2 co-op scenarios for each faction as well. And so it's really, really fun. I'm really, really enjoying it a lot. I like it a lot, and I think I'm going to be playing it a bunch. Like I'm just leaving it on my table now because I'm just going to keep playing it. I think and really try and learn the factions because at this point they're done with it. They're not releasing anymore, but there's like 10 factions. Wow. So there's like a lot, and so yeah, I'm really, 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 really into Cloudspire.
Nice.
Yeah. Altera, Mikey. We just had a playthrough come out for Altera.
We did. Yes. This is the newest Ivy Studio game.
Yep.
This is from the same designer did Tend for them, and it's in a similarly colorful world, although a very different game.
Yes.
This is a game where we're in a post-war utopian kind of society. And we come together. I know. Oh, that'd be great. We are meeting for the annual Ascension Festival. So it's basically the way they describe it. It's like the UN meets the Olympics.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like
With
different
ritual
things,
sacrifice.
Yeah, different things going on and stuff. But it's ultimately a dice bag building game where you're going to be gaining and upgrading dice to higher levels in these 3 guilds. There's red, yellow, and blue.
Yep.
And you are going to be choosing action spaces on the main board with the dice you place.
Right.
And many of the action spaces are going to require you to have a certain color of die or a certain color in symbol to be able to take these kind of stronger actions. And you're going to send your emissaries, your workers out. So there's worker placement via the kind of the dice selection. And you're going to be doing this to bump up these guild tracks. There's like a high council track. You're trying to move up that to take actions, which will give you like money and shards and dice upgrades. And all these types of things, drawing more dice. And you're going to be doing this to score as much prestige as possible. So I really like this game a lot. We played a 3-player play of it.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was really cool. Like,
I'm curious of the legs it's going to have.
yeah, the one thing, so
That's kind of my only, because I liked it a lot as well.
Sure.
I was just, we played it, and afterwards I was thinking about when I was editing the video, and I was kind of like, I wonder what the legs are going to be.
Sure. So a few things that I think could add to that, and time will tell, of course,
is each round there's 3 guild cards, one for each of the types of guilds, and those cards swap out. So the actions are changing
They
throughout
are,
the game,
which is
and
nice.
there are more of those cards than
Yeah.
you use in a game. So you only have certain of the level 1, 2s, and 3s cards. There's also 6 artifacts in a game.
There's like 20
that,
in the
that
game.
give you once per round abilities and games. And there's 20 you'll select 6 from. So it's always gonna be a random assortment that could, I think, add a lot to it. So yeah, again, time will tell. Of
but
course,
I did really enjoy it. I was just curious. I was
and
like,
we
I
each had a
don't,
little starting player that gave us a little bit of a power as well.
Yeah.
So there's some asymmetry there.
but I love the look of it. And again, I
Yeah.
did really enjoy it. I was just thinking about that. I was
Sure.
like, I don't know the legs on it, but I did really enjoy it
Sure.
quite a
Yeah.
bit.
So you're gaining influence, and you're buying higher level dice because there's like level 0, level 1, 2, and 3 dice
Yeah.
that are going to have the level 3 dice for each of the guilds have a bunch of symbols on each face. So you're getting more stuff. The thing I really liked is like you're balancing, using dice for the worker placement spaces. But then after everyone has used all their workers, there's a reveal and resolve phase. So any dice that you have in your available pool that you haven't been used, you then get to use for their resources. Some
Yeah.
provide money and shards. Other ones help you bump up different tracks
Yeah.
and things.
That was cool.
So there's kind of that. And then at the end of each round, you're awarded, if you're at the highest in any of the guild tracks, you'll get a bonus, but then you reset. So that also means now you have to start again on the
Right.
track. So there's some cool stuff. Like I really want to play this one again. And the look of it and everything.
gorgeous.
We played a fairly advanced prototype, but like it'll get even more polished than what it is. But Ivy City always does really cool stuff.
Yeah, I always like their games. Next week, Arkham Horror, the card game you finally started playing.
Ooh, baby, I love your way.
You've been wanting to play this for a long time.
I've been wanting to play this for a long time, man, because I feel like, we played some Lord of the Rings, the card game back in the day. Jimmy has played a whole butt ton of Marvel Champions,
Yep.
and I played with him a little bit. And I've always heard really good things about Arkham Horror, the card game, especially like as a solo experience, it being very good. And so I've played it a couple times now. I finally, I brought it home. We got the new revised core set. And so I was like, you know what, like I want to try this thing. I want to see, how it is as like a little solo experience. In the base box, there's like 6 investigators that each have their own kind of deck of cards.
Right.
There's 3 scenarios. You can replay the scenarios and stuff. But then as you kind of go through the scenarios, you can start to deck build and everything like these games. You'll kind of end up with like a custom deck of what this character can do.
Right.
I really like it. So it's
I'm excited to try it.
you're taking 3 actions on a turn. That could be playing a card, which usually has a cost and materials to play. These might be like event cards, which are one and done effects. There's assets and allies, which go out into your tableau and give you different boons. You're doing various kinds of checks. Like there are oftentimes at a location that you're at, and there's some story and stuff that goes along with what's going on. You need to investigate and look for clues. And certain characters are better suited for certain skill types than others. Some of them are big brawlers. They're going to be good in a fight, but not so much with the investigation side of things. And you're trying to, like with a lot of these games, kind of hedge your bets to pass the test. It kind of reminds me, of Lord of the Rings, the card game in that way, where there's like these skill checks. And it might require 3 to succeed, and my base value of this type of skill thing is 4.
Right.
But I can also discard cards from my hand that have that symbol to add to my total. But then you have to draw out of the chaos bag, which will have negative and positive modifiers, or a critical fail sometimes, and things that trigger your character's ability. It's super fun. Like the story was compelling. I've replayed a few times the first scenario. Before I kind of move in, because I'm just trying to like really get the rules
Right, of
down
course.
and everything. But it's super fun, man.
Yeah.
I really like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel the pull to like start getting all
That's-
the things
that's
for
the-
it, which is like I don't know if I have time or money for that.
Thank
but,
you, appreciate it.
But yeah, I'm like, oh, I see how they did it.
Yeah.
I see how they do this. It gets you the
yeah,
first taste.
there's like 3 scenarios.
First
Like, oh
taste.
gosh, yeah.
But it's really fun. I really like it a lot.
Yeah. Next would be Agor Demon's Hollow. This is a kind of dungeon crawly type game where you're going to have some kind of scenario that you're trying to do. Everyone is going to have a character, and you're playing out these cards. And it was interesting. It was like one of those things. This was a Kickstarter that unfortunately did not fund.
Yeah,
it did
I was
not do
bummed to
very
hear that,
well.
man.
Which was a weird situation because there's like so many of these games that like crush, and they all feel like very similar. And so like this is one that did not do very well, and I don't entirely know why. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't anything super, super groundbreaking, but it was just like, why did this one not do well when so many
know.
other ones I feel like crush, and they're all kind of the same? I don't really know, but it was a cool game where you're like actively trying to do certain things in the game, and like this one, we basically had to like cross this river and then get over here and like defeat the kind of big main monster thingy and then exit the board.
Yeah.
But to cross the river, we had to first like learn how to make a bridge, and basically it was cool because you're gaining skills.
Yeah, there's like crafting elements to it.
Yeah, we're like, oh, you like found stones. You can then learn how to make like arrows out of like wood and stone. And there's like wood and stone on the board that you can like go next to and like chop it down to get those resources. But it's cool because once you learn these skills, the next scenario that you play, you have that skill because now all of you now know how to do that thing.
Right.
So this one, we had to like learn basically how to build a bridge so we can get across this water, because otherwise we can't walk across water. And then we had to get across there. And if we did it within a certain amount of turns,
There's like a bonus you get.
it
There's
just
like
damaged everything for one and
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's like monsters around that, or find like rats and stuff. It was cool. Like, I don't know. It was like one of those things where it's like,
it was fun. Yeah.
it always really bums us out when, even if we don't like love a game, I want people to succeed, and so it always
Same.
bums us out when it didn't. And this one did not do very well on crowdfunding, which is a bummer. I hope they kind of get a second shot at it, because I thought it was good, and I don't get why this one did do well and so many others do well.
I kind of dug the like art style and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
was
was
one
really
that I was
interesting art
a little
style.
surprised to see that just it didn't hit with people.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess it happens sometimes. But I was like, I thought it was fun.
thought it was
Like,
fun.
I don't know.
Except it's Bloodstone.
Bloodstone. We covered this one a couple weeks ago. This is currently crowdfunding. I
Currently,
believe.
yeah. I think by the time this comes out, I'll still be crowdfunding.
Probably, yeah. This is a big arena battler.
Yeah.
Where we're all different characters that have
Yeah.
you know unique abilities and stuff.
They're all
start
pretty different, yeah.
You all start with 175 health, and you're just blasting each other.
Yeah.
And then there's oftentimes highly recommended in I think 3 or fewer players a fiend, it's called, like a boss character that is also attacking everybody and stuff, but it's it's an AI that runs itself. But it's another combatant and stuff, so you're kind of guaranteed to have high dynamic stuff. I think it's interesting is that it's a dice chucker. Like you're gaining dice. You have a kind of a base amount of core dice. You have like these blood energy dice. You have temporary dice, and you're rolling these values. But the values themselves don't, for your attack dice, strictly matter.
Right. You're trying to get pairs, basically.
Yeah, you want to get 2 or 3 of a kind to be able to take different actions from your little player menu of actions. There's things that, if you don't roll a double or triple of anything, you can only choose the things that are in this kind of single die row. There's things that are double die, and if you roll 3 or more of the same number, you get to use your ultimate. So it is kind of nice to be able to chuck as many dice as possible, because it's more likely you can choose a stronger action. And then each character comes down to like their style. Like you were Uwazi, right? You were kind of like a stand back and hurl fire.
Yeah,
magic
and like
at
lots of
people.
like fire dice, and then these 2 different dice I can basically give these people these pyro dice, or these fire dice that they would have to roll
basically
with them.
You're on fire now.
Yeah, it's basically gonna hurt them. I would also have these other pyro dice that I would roll that would hit really hard, but they only hit on like half the faces. You were like poisoning people.
Yeah, I was much more up close and adding poison to people, so that
whipping people and stuff.
Yeah, one thing I really liked about this game, I thought it was really fun, is that most every character has like these D8s that you give to other players that are going to be negatives.
Yeah.
And so when you go to roll all your dice, you roll all your dice, for better or worse. The D8s will immediately do their thing for you. It's like, yeah, they're burning up. For me, it's like they're getting poisoned and stuff. And it would mess with them in different ways. And then you're choosing, what kind of attack you're going to do, and then you total up like everything that you rolled.
Right.
So again, it's nice to roll high, but it's not necessary for choosing certain actions. And basically everything on your attack dice, or for you, your pyro dice as well, becomes like the attack. So you might be hitting people for like 25 or 30, just like blasting dudes. But you have a lot of health, so you can kind of take it for a while. And then the boss in the middle kind of had their own vibe. They had these like hook dice, and they're like moving people around, and they had this like cone of flame that was like circling around the arena. And if you came into the fire, you'd get hurt, obviously. You have to roll these hazard dice, but then the fire kept getting stronger and stronger, where each time you find yourself in it, you're rolling more and more dice against yourself. So like there's some like cool environmental things going on. I thought it was really fun. It's kind of a
I like it too. I like it a
splashy,
lot.
messy, good time.
To me, like it feels like it should just be a co-op. I
Yeah.
don't really get why it's a competitive game when there's like a boss. Like if there's not a boss,
I kind of wish the boss mode changed the game to a co-op
yeah,
game.
it's like to me,
Maybe
it
you have
just,
to fight against two bosses or something.
maybe it's just
but-
not as interesting if you're all just going towards that boss. But I'm like, I don't know, beef up the boss, like make them harder, give them a lot more health. Obviously,
Sure.
To me, I don't know. That's my main takeaway is like I really liked it. It just feels like it should be a co-op when there's like a boss. And so like that's like the main thing, like this my kind of takeaway. It was just like the whole time I kept being like, man, I wish this was a co-op. I wish we could all just be like working together to
I could see them
take
coming
on
up
this
with a
like
co-op version.
this humongous boss would be really fun. And they're just like wrecking us and stuff. I think it'd be really fun. So I did really enjoy it, and I even enjoy the competitive aspect. But it feels like it should be a co-op, and it's not. And I don't really get why. But
Sure. The other thing that was kind of fun is that on top of having different types of attacks and things you do, everyone has like blood energy dice,
Yeah.
and as you're gaining blood energy, you move it up this
You have some
track.
abilities you can
and you have
do.
different abilities you can trigger
Yeah.
with your blood energy that are also
Yeah.
asymmetric and stuff. So I liked all the
Yeah,
characters. I
me
thought they were
too.
like
Again,
thematic and cool.
I really liked the game. I loved the
Yeah.
look of it. I thought it was really cool. I just feels like it should have been a co-op. And,
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I hope they make a co-op like expansion someday
can
because
see
I
it.
would play that significantly more.
There you go.
Next will be Capybara Crush.
Capybara Crush, we played this in Iceland.
We did.
This is a very light game where you are stacking animals. You're basically, your capybaras are helping animals get across this like flooding
Yeah,
river.
They're all just like walking on your head.
So you're stacking up these animals. These animal cards will have different animals and or oranges sometimes and
There's
fruits and
oranges.
things. And you want to, I can't remember if you're ultimately playing like 7 or 8 cards wide.
8, I believe, is what it was.
But you want to stack cards, and you can even stack cards on top of each other to create different pairings and stuff. You want to create like a connected line of the same animals. You want goats to be, on as many kind of cards, and they can either be on the same level as a goat prior or one above or one one below. So
Yeah,
you want
so
to try to
kinda-
create large groups and do this for each of the animal and or fruit types and things. I think our takeaway was we all enjoyed it, but it's very light and it felt very easy to succeed in what you were trying to do.
That was my
like. I
thing.
think all of our scores were basically the same because we're like,
Yeah.
yes, we can. It's not hard to make a long chain, so I enjoyed it, but it was like, I don't know what is here to bring me back. There is another version of the game in the same box. I don't know how it functions differently, but yeah, it was a thing where we're all like. This
Yeah,
is
I didn't really
sort
like
of
it.
Just we're just doing our thing, but it's
Yeah.
not like hard or anything.
That's the thing, I mean, it's such a small, light little game. Like I would play it again, but like I didn't really like it. It just felt so easy. Like it was just. I mean, yeah, like
It's not a lot of compelling.
it's not meant to
choices.
be like a big crazy game, of course, but like even for like a small little game like that, like it just felt way too easy. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, I would try it again, but like I don't know. This one was a big miss for me. I was really excited because I love the little art in it. I like
Yeah.
the people who make that game. I like their games.
Yeah. But it
And
was
yeah,
not
Capybara
a-
Crush though for me was like a. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, oh, okay.
Next will be Clank Catacombs, which we have technically played before. It's been a
a
very long
while.
time, though. Yeah, we had a game day with Jimmy at a local game store, and we played a little Clank Catacombs. It has
Yeah.
been a bit.
It's been a bit, man. I really like it a lot. Like I get why it's been
It's definitely the best Clank. for
popular.
sure.
It feels like the best Clank, outside of like a Clank Legacy, but like out of the normal ones. Yeah, man, I like the Clank games. They're fun. Like the deck building is fun. The humor of the cards still
Yeah.
remains quite fun. With Clank Catacombs, the way that the map kind of builds itself is fun and interesting. That'll be different every time, and what things pop up where. There's portals you can fly around to and stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Like
Yeah, it's still
we
Clank.
played so much Clank over the years
Yeah.
that I'm like, I don't think it'll ever be like at the
No.
peak of what it was
I've-
anymore. But like, it was still very enjoyable.
I've definitely cooled on Clank a lot, even Clank Catacombs. But I still really enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still a good time.
It'll be
It
something
was
we
fun
bust
to,
out every couple years.
and that's the thing is like it had been probably a couple years since we played it. We brushed it off, dusted off, played it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really fun.
Yeah.
But I probably don't need to play it again for another year or two.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Like, but I enjoy it. Again, it's the best Clank because as cool as the normal Clank is with its different boards, they're static. And so like this
Yeah.
is just fun to be like, oh, this room is like this haunted room. Okay. And it's just it felt like the natural progression of what the game should have been.
Totally.
And it's great. I still want to play like Acquisitions Incorporated, which is like the Clank Legacy. I
Yeah,
still really want to
wanna
play
that.
those.
We'll do a challenge at some point in the next, couple
knows?
years
Yeah.
or whatever. Where we do another marathon stream. We play through it all at once. I
Yeah.
think it'd be really fun with that one.
It really would be.
But
yeah. So still like Clank a lot, but yeah, it's definitely like it's just been around for a while,
yeah, been around for a hot minute.
We played the Clash of Clans, the Epic Raid game.
We sure did.
Yeah, we were taught this game by Eric Lang, who's at BGG Con,
Yeah,
and
designed this game.
yeah.
based on the app.
based on the app Clash of Clans with the barbarians and stuff like that. And yeah, it was interesting. It's kind of like this weird like little hybrid Euro game where you're like attacking each other, where you're building out your kind of kingdom, I guess.
Yeah,
Where
your
you
little kingdom, I guess. Your little
yeah, where
area.
you'll have like your kind of town hall, which you can kind of build up, and then you're building all these different, basically defensive, either like things that are going to give you resources. There's things that give you coins, things that give you this like elixir. That's kind of your resources in the game, and then various like defensive buildings because. And then after that, it's just a worker placement game where you can send your workers out to like get new tiles, send your workers out to build these defenses. But one thing you can also do is go raid each other, which means basically you're going to choose your kind of troops that you have, and you can get more different kinds of troops as you grab tiles. And you're basically going to raid one of your competitors, and you can kind of choose where these people come into the board.
Yeah, it's almost like a little tower defense-ish.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so that's why you have these defensive buildings. So they kind of got to get through these things. All the little troops do different things. And yeah, it was cool. Again, it's you're fighting each other. You're trying to, and basically, but it's nice though, because you're burning each other's stuff down, but they don't lose anything.
No.
Basically what you're doing is like, oh, if I like burn down this tile, it basically means that it won't score for Mike this round.
Yeah.
And that was kind of nice because you're not like completely destroying each other. You're just kind of messing with each other.
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying when you get blown up, but you're also probably going to go blow up your opponent.
Yeah,
as well,
exactly. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It's fun. It's a race to like 40 points.
Yeah.
And you're, you get points through raids and stuff. There's certain scoring buildings. Like I had one that's like for every gold collector building I have, I get a point and stuff. And of course it has to not be on fire by the end of the round in order to score that. But there's like some engine building. It's a worker placement game. So obviously it's like attracting people who play the app a lot and stuff like that, but you're going to get like a solid little game in there. And like the game itself was well designed and put together. And I like that it's light enough and silly enough and not punishing enough that you don't hate when your stuff gets burned down, which is not typically my cup of tea.
Right.
Also, it's like, well, I'll play that because it's like breezy enough and it doesn't set you back a ton per se.
Yeah.
So it was enjoyable.
Next up was Extra.
Read all about it. This was
old Reiner Knizia game.
Old Reiner Knizia game. We were setting up to play Marvel Zombicide, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Lincoln from Board Game Geek set up this game, and it's like got these different colored dice and this weird board that you're moving around. And we're like, what is this? It's like it's this ancient Reiner Knizia game. We all start playing it. At first, like we don't understand what's going on. We're like, what? Why are we doing this? But basically what you're doing on a turn is you're rolling 2 dice of your color, and the dice they're not exactly 1 through 6. Like one of them goes up to 7. There's like sometimes the 4s and things missing.
Yes.
But anyway, you're going to roll these 2 dice, and then the 2 values that come up will form a number. So the higher value will be the 10 spot. The lower value will be the single. So if I roll a 6 and a 2, I have 62.
Right.
The highest possible roll you could do is 76 because one has a 7, one has a 6. And when you roll that, you can then assign your pair of dice onto the central board. And basically, if your dice survive going all the way around, they don't get knocked out, they'll score points on whatever row they're on. So the thing that's interesting is if you roll something really high, you want to put your dice up as high as possible.
Yeah.
But if anyone ever rolls higher than you and chooses a lower value space
It bumps
worth
everybody.
less points, it bumps everything above it that has a lower roll. So it's like, okay, I want to get as many points as possible, but there's more spaces where people are going to go and still could potentially bump you out. If I choose the 1 point space, someone might bump me out, but they'd have to do it by going to 0. So it's like, it's probably safer, but I'm not
Right.
going to score fewer points. Also, if you roll like two twos at the same time, you immediately move 2 spaces up. But if you roll snake eyes, you crap out or something,
like
you
that,
go
yeah.
backward. It's just silly, chaotic dice rolling.
No strategy really at
But
all, but it's like, yeah.
Once we all kind of got it,
Yeah, it was fine.
I got into it.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
fun.
this is really fun.
It's fun. And I said no strategy. There is strategy in terms of like where you put your dice
but
on there.
very minimal. It's very light.
Yeah, it's just
It was
silly.
fun, man. I
It was
liked
fun.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun.
I was like-
It's a weird, silly little Ryan Knizia game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It was great while Nikki was helping set up
Yeah,
Marvel
a
Zombies.
huge game of Marvel Zombies.
Yeah. Next would be Fizz Swamp. I had played this with Jimmy a couple months before, but I taught you at BGG Con with some other people, Panda Angel
Amanda,
and
Panda and Charlie and stuff. We played a 4-player game of this. You had played a 2-player game prior. And this game is by the same designer that did Terra Mystica Gaia Project, and there's a little bit of that DNA.
a little bit, not a
here.
ton, but yeah.
But you are building out these settlements or whatever
Yeah.
on these islands, and then moving your boats around. You are fishing. You are then delivering fish to either your buildings or your opponent's buildings. If you deliver your opponent's buildings, you get money, which is good because money is how you pay for everything. And similar to Gaia projects and Terra Mysticas and stuff, like money can get tight, and as you're building stuff, things get expensive. There's also kind of these ceremonies, worships, things you can do where you now score points for the fish on your settlements based on these different islands that are around. I enjoyed it. It's cool. I want to play it again. I feel like last time when we talked about this and you had played it, your fear was like, how many plays of this?
Yeah, what are the legs?
What are the legs on this? And like I share some of that with you because it's like there's variance, but there's not as much variance as like a Gaia project and stuff. And here's part of the thing that is the bummer about having really popular games is we inevitably compare.
Yeah.
And I'm comparing stuff to Gaia Project, which isn't fair. It's a different game.
Yeah.
But there is enough DNA in there
Right.
that I'm going to compare it. And Gaia Project's one of my favorite games of all
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah,
it's like
it's
I'm
tough.
just like
Yeah, I played
but
it.
I quite enjoyed it. Like it is fun.
I don't know if I like this game.
Yeah?
I don't know. I played it a couple times now at different player counts. We played it at 2 with Jimmy, and I was kind of like, I don't know about the legs, and like I don't know how much I enjoyed it. And then we played it now with a full player count, and I still was like, I didn't really like that much. I don't know. I also had a really rough game where I couldn't get anything done. I just couldn't do anything. I just played really badly. Maybe that was part of it. I still want to try it again. I think I'll give it a third try. But if I'm still kind of like, I think I'm just going to stop playing because at that point I
you'll
think I'll
have
be like,
your
oh no, I
answer.
just don't like this game.
I think if you, me, and Jimmy play it, we'll play it 3-player, which I think might be the sweet spot
Maybe,
player count wise, and then
I don't know.
you'll
I
have
just-
tried all the player counts, and you'll definitely know. if
at
you
the
like it
very
or not.
least. Yeah, I don't know. I 2 times now I've been very like on
Sure.
it, and I don't know if that's going to change, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Each character's a little asymmetric,
Yeah.
slightly. As you build out settlements, if you choose, all from the same kind of, there's 4 sections essentially. If you choose from, one area, a bunch of them, the actions you're taking get stronger. So there's a little bit of an engine build there.
Yeah.
My first takeaway, again, this isn't fair. It's not quite the same game, but I'd always play Gaia Project or
Yeah,
Terra
it's
Mystica
like-
over this. But it was fun, and I do want to play it at 3.
Yeah.
I do want to try it again.
Yeah.
So,
Next up is
TBD.
Gazebo.
Gazebo! This is a Reiner Knizia game. They've been pairing up with 25th Century Games, doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ones they did last year. This is a game I played with Karen where you are placing out these little gazebo huts, or you're placing out these little domino tiles onto a board, and if you make groupings of 2 or more of the same colors, basically like 3 colors of flowers, you get to put a little gazebo out there. If you make a large group, which has 5 or more connected of the same color, you get to stack another gazebo on top of it to make a big
old
nook,
gazebo.
as they're called. There's also these pre-printed patios, and if you have more of your gazebos next to a patio, basically more connected groups next to a patio, you claim control of that patio, and you're trying to get rid of all of your little gazebo pieces first. So there's some fun stuff. It's like very much a Knizia game where super light and easy rules teach to get into. You can do some tricksy stuff. I just smashed Karen in this game twice. Dominated, bro.
Absolutely dominated, man.
Dominated it, man. But you can do things where you can merge nooks where, like, if we have 2 of the same color thing that aren't connected already, and then I place a piece that now connects them. If I had more gazebos than you do, I basically eat that. You lose that gazebo. This will inevitably make a large group for me, and I get to put like my double gazebo out. So there's ways to do that. You can steal control of the patios if I put more gazebo pieces than my opponents. I really liked it. It's just a nice, breezy, fun game.
Yeah.
Good, like, we got the upgraded like tiles, the acrylic tiles, very nice. I dug it, man.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I want to try it a lot.
Yeah.
Next will be Hoot Owl Hoot.
Hoot Owl Hoot. Our sister got this for Logan. It's a kids game, but it's a cooperative kids game where you are trying to get owls to the center of the nest, and it's kind of on this winding path spiraling toward the middle of the board, which is the nest. And you're going to have spaces that are different colors. It's very Candyland looking, where it's like going to be pink spaces and blue and green and stuff like that. And on a turn, you're going to have 3 cards in hand, and you can play generally any card you like. And then when you play a card, whatever color's on that, blue or whatever, you'll choose any owl that we still have out on the board, and you'll move them along the path to the next unoccupied space of that color. So, you know, if it's blue, the first empty blue space, you'll put an owl down. What's cool is if you have owls covering a blue space, for example, that space isn't uncovered, so you'll jump over them to the next blue. So you can be strategic in the way that you sort of leapfrog each other and move, and we are all working together to get all the owls to the nest before sunrise. There's sunrise cards where if you have it in hand, you have to play it, and it progresses the sun toward morning, and you need to get to the nest. So I like that it's like, you have more than 1 card in hand. You have 3, so you can make a choice versus Candyland, sort of draw a thing and do whatever it does. And there's like the strategic covering of stuff, which we played more higher than the player count, which didn't really matter. But we played with Chaz, Rosie, Karen, Logan, and I, and we were like, okay, if you do this over here, you got a green, and we can go over here, and you can cover this and move over there, and like you can actually get.
Was Logan able to
strategic with it.
participate in all that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because she can play on the level of like, hey, what owl do you want to move? What color cards do you have? What color do you want to move? Okay, follow the line, trace it. What's the next pink one?
Cool.
And she could handle all that.
Yeah, I'm
just
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But I was just like, oh, there's actually like some strategy you can do. So it's nice for kids and adults. I really enjoyed that. It worked for both levels really well, which is not always the case with kids games.
No, it's not. All right, next up is Jinxo.
Jinxo.
This is one of the Spiel des Jahres nominees for this year at BGG Spring. One of the cool things they always do is they always have all the Spiel des Jahres nominees for the Kinderspiel, which is the kids' game of the year, the Spiel des Jahres, and then the Kennerspiel, which is the strategy game of the year. They always have, I think, like 2 or 3 copies of each on tables.
And people on hand to teach the game.
Yeah.
Stuff. It's really a cool thing.
It's really cool thing. So Jinxo is one of the one's up for Spiel des Jahres, and I really hope it wins because I really like Jinxo. It's kind of like Gamers Just One in a way.
It's a party game and stuff, but there's a little more going on. Basically, everyone has like a tic-tac-toe board, a little 9-square board, and you're going to get 3 prompts. And for each prompt, you are each going to write 3 answers in any of the spaces on the board. And there'll be certain reasons you go to certain spots. So I'm trying to think of like what are some examples.
So like one of the it's lots of different kind of prompts you'll expect in these kinds of games. So one was like blank cream. So then you have the right things. So like micro, like ice cream, right? Yeah. So ice, I put like sun cream, something like cream cheese, that kind of stuff. And so
me and Starla did cookies and cream.
Exactly, yeah.
You want to be matching with people ultimately.
You want to preferably match with one person. You get more points if you match with only one person, but you get points if you match with people. You don't get anything if you don't match with anybody. And on this grid, you can basically, like at the very top right of the grid, because again, it's 3 rows, 3 columns, the top right is worth 3 points. And then basically, at different spots as you kind of go down to the left or down, they become worth less and less points. And so you can basically be like, I don't think anyone's going to match this, so I want to put this in like the 1 point spot. And then you kind of, once you do 3 prompts.
Yeah, do 3 prompts with 3 answers, so you'll fill all 9 squares by the end of it.
And then you just go around and each person just says one of their words. You don't have to do it in any kind of order. And you generally want to say the words you think people are going to match with. So it could be like ice, and then everyone will be like, oh, I have ice because ice cream. Okay, cool. And then you do like that. It was really fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, so the cool thing is, like, if you announce your word and you make a match with at least one person, you will circle that word. That'll be worth a point. If you match with exactly one other person, you will fill in the star that's in that space, and you'll get a bonus 2 points for that. Now the whole confidence thing comes in where if you create full rows or full columns of words that match with other people, those will award bonus points.
Yeah.
And again, the top row and the rightmost column will be worth 3 points
3
if
points,
you get
2.
3 matches, or the top row. So you want to put your answers you're more confident about in those spaces
Yeah.
because you're like, I think I'm going to make matches with this and complete this row or column to
Yeah.
get bonus points. But you get points just for making matches and stuff. It is so fun.
It was great.
Just because, like, it's one of those great party games where, like,
Yeah.
you see how people's brains work and
Yeah.
what things people go to. Like, one of them was, like, popular 3-letter acronyms. And we all had very different
Yeah.
things. Some people went sports, which, of course, makes sense because they're all 3-letter acronyms. Mick from Our Family Plays Games did, like, FBI and CIA. I'm like, oh, yeah. I went, like, texting terms, said, like, LOL and FYI. And so it's, like, this thing where through the playing of the game, you like discover like, oh wow, there is so many more of
Yeah.
these than you think, but we all kind of got onto one little path. And so it's really kind of revealing and fun in that way. I love this game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it being nominated, hopefully winning a Spiel des Jahres, will get a wider release in the States.
Yeah.
I imagine that will happen. It was super fun.
It was super fun. Yeah, if you like those kind of just one So Clever type games, give it a try if it comes
Yeah.
here. If you're in the United States, if you're in Europe, you should be able to get it. But if it's not here in the
so
United
if it
States
comes
yet.
out here, I think it probably will.
Next up is going to be Quayside.
Quayside.
You were really, really wanting to play
I
this
was
game.
hype on this, man.
Yeah.
So Quayside.
Shouts out to Matthew Jude. Matthew Jude loves this game.
Shouts out Matthew Jude, get me all excited for it. This is the next game in the Key series, of which there are many, Keyflower and Cathedral and on. And Quayside is a game where you're going to have this like central island board with all these different harbors, and you are going to be on a turn moving one of these ships with these sailors on it that are different colors. There's 5 colors, I think, right? There's 5
think so,
colors?
yeah.
Or 6 colors, because 6 dice, 6 colors.
Yeah, you're right.
You're going to be moving sailors in a boat so long as the die you're playing, say I play my green die, if there's a green little meeple in that boat, you can move them up to the amount of spots matching the pips on the die.
Yep.
And then you're going to place the sailor in a harbor that's going to have some sort of action and scoring, and basically people can then follow if they want to throw down a
Yep.
die. To be able to have presence in a certain harbor and stuff, to be able to do that and make use of the action. So the first half is kind of like the landing phase where you're moving boats around and you're loading people onto these harbors. And then if you don't have any dice to load onto boats, on your turn, you're going to start resolving harbors
Right.
one at a time to do their action, which is going to be like gaining, animals, moving your meeples around, your keeples around. Producing resources and things, all the things that are kind of typical in the Key games. And each harbor, in addition to having an action, is going to have a randomly paired harbor scoring
Right.
to it that will be based on, the amount of stuff
Yeah,
you
the amount of
have
cows
and the
you
things
have,
you've
yeah.
done. So you're trying to get people around to be able to take actions, but then also get people, meeples around to maximize the scoring.
Right.
And if I have multiple meeples in the same harbor, the scoring that I would generate for that tile will be multiplied times the amount of keeples I have
Right.
there. So you really want to try to maximize and stuff. This is a game that, like, I feel like we all were figuring out as we go, and then, like, after the first game, you're kind of like, oh, okay, now I see how I can start to do stuff. There's a lot of things going on with this one. There's
Yeah.
like this action board that you're bumping up tracks and stuff and getting bonuses, and there's these buildings you can build that go into endgame scoring. I enjoyed it, and I've thought a lot about it since playing it, but I feel like I need to play it again because the
Yeah.
first game is very much like, what's even going on?
I
you
definitely
know?
need to play it again. I didn't like love it. I thought
Yeah.
it was okay.
I
thought
didn't
it was
like
fine.
as much as I was excited for it.
Yeah, yeah, but it's one of those games I think I need to play again to like grok it better. But yeah, like I was like this again. I would happily play it again. I have thought about it a decent amount. But yeah, after a single play, I was kind of like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I was
that's,
on it.
That's the latest and greatest on it. But
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I want to play it again if
Yeah.
I have a chance to.
Yeah, I'm very curious about it. Next would be Llama Llama. It's a small little game.
Llama.
I think it's an all-play game.
Yep,
all
it's in
play
their
small
tiny
game.
box line. Yep.
Yeah, this is an interesting game where you are drafting and passing cards, but you're also going to have scoring cards out there. So basically, everyone is going to commit a scoring card to and they're going to get every basically turn of the game. They're going to get revealed as they go. And these are going to be, the cards are labeled A through G, right?
G or H, yeah. There's
I think it's G. And they're all going to have different scoring on them. So the A will give you, like, I don't remember exactly what they are, but the A will give you like 1 point for every A card in your hand at the end of the game, and you'll score like 3 points for every combination of like C and D that's in your hand.
it's all set collection stuff.
It's all set collection stuff. G, you want one of every single card, or A, you want one of every single card, something like that. But they all basically have different scorings that's going to be set collection stuff that you want in your hand at the end of the game. So at the beginning of the round, you're going to choose one of these that's going to score. And then the first round, you're going to have to pass. You have to have 7 cards, I think.
You pass 4
You
of
pass
them or something.
4 in the first round. You get past 4. And then another scoring card will get revealed. Then you pass 3. Card gets revealed, 2, and then 1, and then that's it. And then you all reveal your hand, and then you go through and score all those different things. So it's basically like you're not going to be able to score all of them because one will want like A and B together. One will want like D and C together. You only have 7 cards, so you can't kind of do everything. So as you're drafting, you're kind of picking and choosing which ones you really want to score, but you're constantly having to give cards away, and then you're just like getting random cards as well. And so it's a short little game, but I actually really, really liked it.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's like a hedging your bets
Right.
to it because, like you said, you only know some of the scoring, early on, and you're really passing a lot of your cards. There's like those Hail Mary moments where it's like, I know that the one scoring we need one of each letter is in play. And one thing that's interesting is there's like a bunch of A's and B's and stuff, and then fewer of the higher letters, and then the G there's like one of them.
There's one, yeah.
So it's like you're kind of like, okay, like how do I, do I hope that I'm going to get past this
Right.
thing? Is it now obvious because a scoring card has come out that people know what's valuable, so now they're going to no longer pass me B cards or whatever?
Well,
so
yeah, and it's like, if
do
you're-
I change tack to go for other scoring cards instead of the one that I contributed?
Yeah. And after the first round, you reveal the scoring cards that people chose in score order. So whoever has the highest score, their scoring card is going to get revealed first.
Yes.
So then everyone knows what they're going for. And then if you're in last place, your scoring card is going to get revealed last.
sort of hide a little
So you
bit.
can kind of be like, oh, I know I need C's and D's, but it's like, if Mike's in first and his gets revealed first, everyone's gonna be like, well, I'm not going to pass Mike any C's because I know he put that card out
yeah.
there. So
it's a little bit of a balancing mechanism there,
Yeah.
which I think is really clever.
yeah, it was cool. I liked it. Again, it's one of those tiny little all-play games. I really liked it, though. I thought it was very fun.
Yep, I totally agree.
Next, we played, me and Jimmy played a couple rounds of Lord of the Rings Trick Taking,
We
Two
did.
Towers Trick Taking
Dipping
game
into the
specifically.
2 towers, baby. We played through...
Did we ever beat the first one?
We never beat the final scenario, so we need to do that, technically. We were in the final chapter of
what?
Fellowship.
Yeah, I know. We played Two Towers, though.
Oh, what do you mean? What's your question?
Did we ever beat the first scenario?
I don't know. We tried it a couple times. I think we might have failed each time.
Yeah, we were playing...
We might have won the last time we tried. I don't know. We were playing at Cane's,
we were playing-
Raising Cane's.
Yeah, that's right. We were playing
Over
while eating some
lunch.
chicken.
But yeah, so this is a follow-up to the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. Very much the same, where you are going to be cooperatively
It's
trick-taking, and you are trying to accomplish each character's goals. Now there are, at least in the chapters we played, the 2 tower cards, a white tower and a black tower, that are going to have kind of like
Automatically win.
an instant win ability. There's these 3 orc cards which cannot be the winner. They're kind of like auto fails.
Well, you can't lead them.
You can't, but if you lead
Yeah.
with them, then you lose. You need to get them out of your hand, but of course you can only do that if you can play off suit. And then, characters have things like, I gotta win, like Boromir has to win like 2 tricks before the first tower is revealed, and then win like the fewest overall, or some, like they have
And
different...
then they can't win any tricks
can't
after
win
that, or
any
something like
tricks,
that,
yeah. And stuff like that. So it is super fun.
Yep.
We knew we were going to love this because we love Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. It does pick up where Fellowship took off in terms of like difficulty
hard.
level. Like they are assuming that you played through Fellowship, which I think 99% of people would have. So they're not going to like start you off with like super easy pieces. They're just going to hop right in, and then from what we've heard, Return of the King will be even more in that
Yeah,
direction.
it's
We're
hard.
Like, it's deep in
But
now.
it's nice because like the inclusion of the orc cards makes sense because there's a lot more orc
Yeah.
activity in the 2 towers. But the reason why it's there is because it then takes away the thing that happens in some co-op trick-taking games where if you're playing Fellowship of the Ring trick taking and everyone's reached their goals, you don't have to play out the rest of the
Sure.
tricks
Like, oh, we know we
because
got
you're
it.
like, everyone's reached their goals. There's no way we can lose. We can play. So now you have to play through the entire thing because you have those orc cards.
Yeah, you could still fail.
You could still fail because if you ever have to lead an orc card, you immediately fail. So it's like one of those things where it's nice because it kind of takes away that part. We're like, okay, we're done. We can just move on.
Yeah.
You then have to play through the whole thing. It's incredible. I'm so curious, like when these are all done, where they're going to end up for me and like my top games. Cause like,
man.
I love them so much that I just don't even know. It's
so fun, dude.
yeah. The Two Towers one is super fun. I've played
You played a few.
I've played
scenarios.
2 scenarios for sure. I can't remember if we played the third one, but then we played only the first one that day.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
Got a
very,
ways
very
to go.
fun.
So fun.
Mike, you got to play a little Magical Athlete.
I did. I
Hot,
played this
Hot
at,
Street Killer.
at Spielevin. For me, it's a Hot Street Killer. I like this better.
Yep.
They're both fun, of course, and not exactly the same or anything. But Magical Athlete is one I've always wanted to try. We have been Magical Athletes.
We have.
Where
Long time
we
ago.
played at Dice Tower Convention way back in the day where people were controlling us and we had abilities and powers and stuff, but I couldn't say that I've played it. I've been played by it. if
Right,
anything.
yes.
But yeah, I played the new CMYK version and it's super fun. It's just silly.
Yeah.
It's a roll and move game where you're going through 4 races, and you will draft at the start 4 character cards, each with their own little wooden piece and ability and stuff like that. And then each race, you're going to choose one of your 4 that you haven't used yet, obviously, to be in that race and stuff. And they have all sorts of crazy powers. There's like one where it's like a person on a rocket, and they move like twice as far or something. But if they roll doubles or they roll too high or whatever, they basically lose their next turn because they like blow up and whatnot. There's one that's just a big baby, and the whole point is that people can't like jump over their space. They just like block people and stuff. On and on and on. There's all sorts of things that will trigger when someone else does the thing and they trigger their power, then I get to move forward 1, and it's just wacky and fun and silly and perfect at conventions. We played a high player count. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I played it a couple times at Spiele and I had a great time with it.
Yeah.
It's super fun. And it's perfectly chaotic and silly, and it does not pretend to be anything other than that. It's not apologetic about that. And yeah, it's fun. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
I really
I'm
liked
glad.
it a
I'm
lot.
glad to hear it. Yeah. Want to play it? We'll pick it up at some point because it's great. Next is Marvel Zombicide. We talked about this when we talked about Extra because Nikki and co were setting up Marvel Zombicide. We had a little bit of time, so we played that game.
The
at Extra.
BGG crew were on a massive zombie side
They
kick.
seemingly still are. They played it multiple times
Yeah.
at that con. Different versions of Zombicide.
Yeah.
The Lincoln and Nikki crew are on a big Zombicide kick, which is great because this is like one of our main things that made us dive deeper into the hobby.
Yeah, the OG
was
Zombicide.
Zombicide, the original Zombicide. And I know they have changed over time and gotten better. The last one we got was Black Plague, which was like the first of like the medieval
way
ones.
old by now.
Which at this point is like, 7, 8 years old probably. So it's like, that is not a new game. So this is the Marvel Zombicide, which I've always been interested in because it's just a cool concept. And it was Aldi's version, who owns BGG, so he has everything. And it was crazy. Like the sheer amount of characters, how cool they all
gosh.
looked. I mean, I was just like, damn.
Well, also now you're playing as zombies.
Yes. And you can play either way, yeah.
Yeah, you are in the normal version of the game. You are zombie versions of Captain
Yes.
America and Green Goblin, Hulk, everybody. There's so many characters. And this is one of those Zombicide games where there's always 50 characters where I'm like, no, I do want 50 for this
Yeah.
because they're all the superheroes we know and love. And
Yeah, they're all
stuff.
different. Whereas I feel like with all the other Zombicides, it was always like vague references to
Yeah, like parody stuff.
parody stuff, or just like, I don't know, like especially Black Plague was tough because it's like there's only so many medieval looks.
Yeah.
You're either like a sorcerer or like a wizardy type person or like someone in armor. So I'm like, I get it. This one's supposed to be Iron Man or whatever. I'm like, okay, what? It's like they were all just kind of the same, whereas this, they really felt different. And then their powers made sense for those characters, right? Like, Charlie was like Nightcrawler, so he could like kind of teleport around and stuff like that, which is really cool. It was cool. It was interesting. Like, it was actually more like base Zombicide than I was expecting. I kind of figured it would have been more different. It was definitely cleaned up a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff like noise that used to be in the original Zombicide that was always just a massive pain in the butt because it was hard to track all this different kinds of stuff. It's definitely been cleaned up, but I was actually surprised it wasn't more different.
Well, and the thing is that the Marvel Zombie side is a few years old.
Yeah,
still,
so it might be
I
even
think
more
they
different.
may have done even more because they recently came out with the second edition of the original
Yeah.
Zombie side. I wouldn't be surprised if there's even more from what we played to now.
Yeah, but it was fun, and I love Zombicide. I'll always, it's like a game that I don't want to
hordes
play
of
that
zombies.
often, but like it's just fun. You get cool. You just start wrecking zombies, or in this case, like shield officers and stuff. And it really also like, man, Zombicide will always have a massive place in my heart. Like
Oh, yeah,
I love
we
it.
haven't played it in years.
Yeah.
And we were playing that, and I was like, yeah, this game is
It's fun.
awesome. And the Marvel version is dope.
It's
I was
really
like,
dope.
this is actually really fun.
Yeah, it's really, really
I
fun.
get why Lincoln and Nikki and all them are like really deep in it right now because they're like playing through all these older versions.
Because they just played like the pirate one.
Yeah, the whatever it's called. Yeah, which also sounds cool. Yeah, I was like, that was really fun.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
It was a
I was-
nice walk down memory lane in a way.
It had been a while, and it was very, very fun. We played Morty Sorty Magic Shop. This is one of the other Spiel des Jahres nominees, along with Cozy Stickerville, which we didn't play at BGCon, but Mike's played Cozy Stickerville. But Morty Sorty Magic Shop was one of Spiel
Mid
des
as
Jahres.
hell.
It was mid as hell, y'all. I don't know I do not know why that game got nominated for the Spiel des Jahres.
I get it as a Spiel nominee to a degree because it's like it's very family weight and everything. It's a game where you are arranging potions on your shelf, and you need them to be in ascending order. They all have numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you can match colors, there's different types of potions. I think you want to like match them in certain spots if you can.
You basically, you want to make like columns of specific colors or something like that, which give you like bonus
Yeah,
points
that's what
and
it is.
stuff like that.
Yeah, if a column has all three colors or whatever, and you can get like bonus wild things and stuff. And like there's some like fun little combos that pop off, but it's very basic. It's very straightforward. You sort of every turn there's like there's a potion that like, well, this is the only one I can take because it fits the numbers that I need to go into here. It was just like something where I'm like, I guess I get it. It's a family weight, very
I don't
kind
get
of
it at
German
all.
game, and it's a German award and everything like that. But I was like, we all played it once and enjoyed it fine enough, and I was
Yeah.
like, cool. Never need to play
Well, it's
that
like there were
again.
games like on the nominated list. They didn't make the Spiel. Well, on the final nominations, there's only 3 final nominations. But like on like the short list was like Toy Battle and like Tag Team and a couple other things that like I was Take Time that I was sure was going to get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the nominations were like weird. Again, Jinxo turned out to be really fun. But that's a game like again it's not an American one. We're North America bias, of course, because it's where we live. But it's just like yeah, Morty Sword Magic. I was like, at least Jinxo was incredible.
Yeah, Jigsaw
Like
was
in
really fun.
Cozy Stickerville was like different and interesting,
Yeah.
and like this one, I was just like, this game, like I said, mid as hell.
It
dude.
felt it partially because it had the same art did like Dungeon Pets and stuff, so it looked really dated as a
Yeah.
result because that art is just something I associate with games from a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like
It was-
perfectly enjoyable, innocuous time that you won't really remember.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, that
I hope
was
Jigsaw
yeah.
wins.
There's so many other games I'd rather play.
Yeah, I thought it
was
was
okay.
Whatever. Mike, you played Next Station Berlin.
I did.
What was the difference? What's the twist in this one?
So this one is interesting, and to the point where I was just like, "What's going on?" I got so confused. In this one, in all the Next Station games, you are using colored pencils to draw lines of train, like your public transportation networks. And in this one in Berlin, there's basically 2 halves to your map. And for the most part, on one turn, you're going to be drawing on one half of the map. And on the other turn, you're gonna be drawing on the other half of the map so like if this round I'm green or whatever, you're actually drawing kind of like 2 green lines and in alternating fashion. So that was really interesting. I was like, okay, and that was like the main difference.
Yeah.
And then with these things, you're trying to get tracks into as many different kind of zones of the map as possible and stuff. And there's like little goals to be going for. But yeah, that was like I was like, oh, that is very different because the rest is like. The sort of shape of the map, there's like little things, but I've never seen something where there's like sort of this dual 2 halves thing at the same time. It was cool.
You know what I'd like? Them to make a slightly big box version and just have all the maps.
That'd be great.
Because they're like usually
I
there's
like
2
them
maps
all.
per, but they're all different games.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just give me all of them. Because I like the fact they're all like a little bit different. Like, oh, Paris is like this, and Tokyo is like this, and Berlin's like this. I want them all in one thing.
Yeah.
So I can just, let's play Berlin today. Let's play, because I do like the Next Station games a lot.
Totally. Yeah, and if I got them, I'd probably make something like
Yeah.
that and just like laminate a certain amount of them because like
Do it blue orange.
do a blue orange cowards. No, I'm just kidding.
Cowards love you.
Yeah, but it's good. If you like the Next Station games, it's another good entry.
Yeah, right.
I will try all of them.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I'll try every single one. Next up is Orloy, the Prague Astronomical Clock.
Yeah.
A game we were really, really want to try. This came out at Essen last year.
We're
And it's
highly
just like
anticipated from last year.
Gorgonzola. It's so pretty. It's so
pretty.
gorgeous. And it's a big kind of heavy Euro game. So I was like, you're speaking my language. So we got a chance to play it. And I really, really liked it. It's an interesting game where it's kind of got the big clock in the middle. This is a real thing that you can see in Prague. It's this incredibly big, immensely complex clock that's still working today. It's like a marvel, especially for the time that was made, which was 1986. I don't know when it was made. A long time ago, 1984.
It came up, Rise of Berlin Wall went down.
That's right, baby.
You know?
That's right, baby. But nonetheless, hundreds of years ago, and it's really, really cool. And then, so the game basically takes place, there's kind of like this clock in the middle of the board that can spin, and then basically as it spins, there's going to be actions that line up, and you will
Right.
put your little worker at the edge of the clock, and you can do the two actions that are in line with that. So the clock will move one for sure, but then as you bump up these tracks, you then can choose to move the clock farther, and then you can use these cogs, and you can basically break these cogs to move things farther. That's kind of like one of the currencies in the game of these cogs that you're constantly like
Deviation.
using. Yeah, they're called deviation. It's one of the most like Euro-y terms. Like if you want more deviations, I'm like, gosh, call it something else, y'all. But
Call it clocky clock twirlabouts.
there you go.
You know?
But as you use these cogs, you can then bring them back to use them again and all this different kind of stuff. But I really, really like that kind of action selection system. Like it's like that in like Terracotta Army and stuff. I like where they're spinning and then you're trying to get certain ones to line up with each other to do this
Right.
really cool action. I really enjoyed that. And then, yeah, you're like building out, again, in this clock, there's also a big like astrological thing with all the different signs. There's a big like month calendar. It's this big old thing. So you're like putting those things in, scoring all these different ways. It was kind of wild. We were playing it like pretty late at night. And all of us, I feel like, kind of grokked it. And I liked it, I
Yeah.
feel like, the most. And
Yeah.
our friend Charlie kind of bounced off, but he kept bringing it up. We kind of kept thinking about it over and over and over again. So I definitely want to, we did pick it up, and I do want to try it again, because I think I liked it the most. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I was sort of in the middle there where I was just like, yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, you know, there's some stuff I enjoyed. But I definitely feel like I need to play it again to get a better sense of like how to work stuff. What am I trying to go for? Like, it was a fine first game to play because I was just sort of dabbling. Oh, going over here, there's some
Right.
tracks you can bump and go, oh, that's cool, and kind of makes your action stronger. And I'm gonna go over here and work on this and help build out the clock and all that. But I kind of felt like I didn't do anything particularly well and stuff.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I probably needed to have focused a little bit. But I did enjoy what you were doing. But I do need to play it again to like really be able to suss out like, where am I with this?
Yeah.
You know, because it was a like not love to start. But there's like a lot of cool stuff. So I think it might have just been a bit of the timing and everything
Yeah.
that sort of colored that a little bit. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's definitely a cool game for sure.
You played Love Letter, huh?
I did. I haven't played Love. It's
great.
In a good hot minute. We did play the Stitch one when we were in Nova Scotia, but I played on Board Game Arena OG Love Letter,
Yeah.
man. And I was like, you know what?
Love Letter's
I've
great.
grown to. I've come back around. And I've grown to have more appreciation for Love Letter for being just what it is.
It's what it is.
It's a light little silly game where you're
Kind of
knocking players
deduction-ish,
out,
yeah.
sort of deduction-y, you know, making guesses, but it's just, it's perfectly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think we got it early on. We got a Batman version. We're like, oh, this is great. Then we're like, it's just trad, man. I don't even know why people like
we definitely
Love Letter.
got-
And now I'm coming back around and getting over my snobbish self and
Yeah,
saying
that's
like,
I
this
feel
is a
like
fine game, man.
That's
It's
like
fine.
I feel like the roller coaster for like every board gamer. It's like
Yeah.
you get into it, and right when you get in, everything's amazing because you
Everything's
haven't
amazing.
seen a deck builder before. You haven't seen a da-da-da before, so everything's amazing. And then you get snobbish, and we're talking about us as well. You get snobbish. You're like, well, it's not that good. And then you kind of go down here,
Yeah.
and then you kind of get this middle zone where you're like, no, Love Letter's great.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I would pick other games over it.
Sure.
But it's like, Love Letter's great.
But someone like bust out this Stitch Love Letter, you want to
Sure.
play? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah,
Heck
it's like you kind of end up in the middle zone. That's where you want to
yeah,
be.
it's nice. It's nice
Yeah.
to not be so like, oh, I don't know about that game.
Yeah.
You know.
I would play Penguin Party.
Penguin Party. We played a few different kind of Reiner Knizia
I was
older
like
games.
delirious at this point.
Yeah, this
is
one-
when we got into Iceland, and we got in at like 6 o'clock in the morning after a
We've
red
been
eye
up
flight.
for a long time.
Yeah, that first day we were up for like 36 hours.
Yeah, but this is a Reiner Knizia game that 25th Century brought back.
Yeah.
And it's a card shedding game. You're trying to get rid of all your cards first, and you are collectively building a pyramid of penguins. And there's different colors, and so the rule is that you can play a card from your hand to the base up until I think it's 8 cards wide. Or you can build up if there's 2 penguins beneath it, and if at least one of those penguins matches the color of the card you're playing. So you're playing cards in such a way that you're trying to make sure you always have a legal play that you can make.
Right.
And there could be something where it's like there's red over here, but then something else kind of blocks it, and now there's no red to be able to play back. So like that color's effectively wiped out. And so you're trying to kind of make sure you play stuff to stay alive. It was
I didn't play this one. I'm trying to think
You
of
might not have.
what
You
I was
might have.
doing. I wasn't in this one.
I think it was
No.
the part where you were staring at the wall crying.
Probably, yeah.
Because you're out of your mind.
Yeah, I was freaking out.
But yeah, it was a fun like little light game. It was like, not much to it, but I was like, yeah, sure. It was a fun one and done
Yeah,
play.
one and done.
For sure.
We got to play Recall.
Yes.
We played a game with our dear friend Dave Luza taught us. It was you, me, Paula, and Dave played this.
What a squad.
Yeah, what a squad.
What a squad.
It was
Paula
great.
crushed us so hard.
Paula destroyed us. Yeah.
Dang.
Recall is kind of a spiritual successor to I almost said Resist. Revive. And it's got some similar things, but it's a very, very different game. This game just went completely out of my mind.
Yeah.
What the hell do you do
It's
this
a
game?
It's similar to Revive in that you are kind of like
I'm picturing Revive now as the problem, and I'm like, wait, that's not right.
And you're kind of exploring out and discovering lands and stuff in these kind of ancient civilizations, but each turn you are basically taking a little key, like this little tile thing, and locking it into your player board to take the action that is matched with that. And you can upgrade your actions and stuff like that. And you're going out, you're producing or digging up resources and stuff. You are moving out to other lands. You're building these kinds of buildings to score different ways. You're getting like these, ancient technology cards and stuff from the three civilizations that are in the game. And I think that changes from game to game. You're really just trying to like manage your stuff and upgrade everything to get kind of stronger and stronger actions. This was definitely a game which is a trend for me of just like, I'm gonna do a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
and you're like,
right.
cool, that's not worth anything, man. You needed to have focused a little bit. And I was like, I don't know, I just did some stuff.
Yeah,
but it was
I literally
really
just
fun.
looked it up because I was like, I can only picture Revive right now. Now I remember what it looked like.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't picture this. Yeah,
Yeah, there's like different tracks you're bumping up that are all related to these 3 civilizations.
Right.
To be able to kind of like increase your scoring and stuff like that. And yeah, it comes down to like upgrading those actions.
Yeah, you're putting buildings out on the tiles and all this
Yeah.
different kind. They do kind of different things.
As you build buildings, you're unlocking stuff and whatnot. It's kind of like a big exploration game. I really liked
which is
it.
kind of like Revive in that way too, where you're uncovering stuff. I really, really enjoyed it. Despite me not being able to remember it for a moment there, I blacked out.
And everything comes back to like the recall action
Yes.
where you're basically going to bring all your stuff back and whatever, and you're going to be able to trigger a bunch of little bonuses and things like that. So it's one of those cool things where like your reset turn is actually pretty action packed. You get to do a whole bunch of different things, which is really fun. So it's one I want to play again because again, there's a lot going on. So I feel like we barely scratched the surface of it. But
Yeah.
it was
good.
Probably
I
my
think
favorite
I
game I played.
Probably liked it more than Revive.
It was great.
Yeah, I really,
wanna
really
play it
enjoyed
again.
it. It was good. Rife für die Insel?
Yeah, this is like, it's called Ripe for the Island, man.
Oh,
This is a
okay.
game where you were trying to collect bananas, your monkeys, and you're bidding on these kind of lots of bananas.
Classic.
It's another Reiner Knizia, deep cut that Matthew tracks down. There's basically like 3 rounds, and in the first round, I think like only green bananas are going to score. The
Yeah.
second round, green and yellow
No,
will
it's
score.
green and brown, wasn't it?
Something like that. And then it's green, yellow, and brown. And like
Yeah.
the third round, all 3 will score. So you're trying to like time stuff up and get the right bananas for the right time by
'Cause,
bidding.
yeah, you keep bananas from round to round.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, this won't score now, but it'll score the next 2 rounds. And
Yes,
yada,
it's like
yada,
maybe I'll
yada.
build up for later. You're doing this by bidding and playing these like monkey cards and stuff. And there's like parrots that'll steal your bananas.
Yeah.
And it was just like a fun little kind of like bidding game. Pretty light, but I did like the whole thing of like not every banana is always available for scoring. So
Yes.
do I like try to harness what's available now or try to plan for the future to be able to score on those, second and third rounds and stuff. It was a fun little
Reiner Knizia game where I'm like, Matthew, where do you find these things?
Yeah, I don't know, but
know?
it was fun. Yeah, it was a cool little game. We played Robo Rally Dice. Shouts out to Kane Klanko.
Shouts out.
We played this one, did a playthrough of this one, and it was really fun. It was funny because going into this one, we were talking about it, and because we played Robo Rally, the normal Robo Rally, very, very, very early on into us starting to game. Like
we
15
weren't
plus
even
years
board
ago.
gamers, I wouldn't say, but we were being shown.
Yeah, and I did not like Robo Rally because it's just chaos, and you're getting nothing ever goes the way you want it to, and da 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 da, and kind of like a love letter. Like we were going into this playthrough that we were doing for Renegade, and I was like, you know what? I have a hunch I'm really gonna like Robo Rally now because now I know what it is going into it, and like again, kind of that thing. Like I've become less snobby about stuff. I'm like, no, this is just gonna be chaotic and fun. Yeah. And it really, really was. It's very, very Robo Rally, which again is you're trying to get to these specific checkpoints on these various boards, and you're doing that. I believe the original one, maybe you were playing cards, something like that.
I think you're playing cards. Now you're rolling dice and slotting them into your...
And those dice will be like, move forward, turn to the left. Your programming is basically what you're doing. But you're getting like a little bit of special powers and stuff like that. But that programming can, of course, go wrong because people can like get in your way or push you to the side. You end up on conveyor belts. The conveyor belts will move at the end of the round.
Around and stuff.
At the end of the round, you'll always shoot right in front of you. There's also like lasers around that you're getting pushed into and getting damaged and stuff. It's really, really fun. I had so much fun playing this game.
Yeah, it was a good time. Like it was, I think you hit it. Like it's a nice reminder of like, hey, sometimes chaos and silliness is fun. There's like a little bit of a real-time aspect to rolling dice and slotting things in. That was, a good time. And you think you have the perfect plan, and then you realize you were off about something because you're on this thing that's going to spin you. Now everything's going wrong, and you're trying to get through those checkpoints. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Robo Rally.
It's a light, silly, good time.
It's good now. Again, now I'm just like, now I like these kinds of games. And the Dice one was very, very fun. In a much smaller package, it was cool.
Yeah.
You played Seashells.
Seashells. I played this one on Board Game Arena. This is from KTBG, Kids Table Board Games. It was insanely mid.
Oh, okay.
It's a game where there's like this grid of different types of shells of different colors. So maybe shells are not our thing.
Maybe it's not shells. Yeah, maybe no shells.
I'm fairly shell agnostic in real life too, where I'm just like, man, either way. Either way. I see a shell, I'm like, either way. But there's this grid, and you are going to basically be able to take, based on what the last shell was taken, you can take any shell in that row or column, and then that will move the marker, of the last thing taken, and that gives the next player, control over what they can take. And it's a thing where you like want majorities. There's like 5 or 6 types of shells and 5 or 6 colors. And at the end of the game, it's like if you have the most orange shells, you get 3 points. If you have the most of this kind of shell, you get 3 points. It just felt very flat to me, where it's just like, where can I like invest more in something and get a greater reward? Right. It just felt very much like on rails, where like early on, it's like, okay, I sort of have these 2 types of shells and these 2 colors, and that's all I'm gonna go for because there's no point anymore for these other ones. They're already sort of claimed. And the second that, like, basically you move the marker and there's not a legal play, then the game ends. You don't know exactly when it's going to end. But yeah, I was just like, maybe there's like an advanced mode or something, but it was just like everything's 3 points, and so it just all felt sort of the same, and we all sort of got the same amount of things. At least on Board Game Arena, playing async, it was not the way.
Maybe talking about Seashells, I was thinking about Sanibel right now, which we talked about a little earlier. And it was kind of a similar thing where it's like none of the things scored that much. Yeah. Like, and I was like, I kind of want these to be more extreme. So like, I'm going to go hardcore into this thing and score like 1 billion points.
Yeah, I'd almost like prefer...
And it was just kind of, they're all kind of like, I don't know, they're all kind of the same. And like, they all don't score that much and kind of meh, whatever.
I'd prefer, rather than like, hey, if you're the majority of this, you get some points, I prefer like a triangle scoring where it's like, hey, if you take one of these, you're at -5.
Right.
Then you go to -3, then 0, then 1, or something. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to really try to maximize this thing. That would have been much more interesting to me than just like, all right, you have the majority, you get 3, and everyone gets the same. It just, didn't go anywhere, really. I was bummed. But
get wrecked shells. And shell gas stations as well.
Yeah, why not?
We played Shady Lady, Mikey.
We did. This was another card game that we played. It's sort of like a deduction-y. You're trying to make a set. You're trying to make a 3-card set of either the same number or a run. And on a turn, you're going to draw a card from someone's discard pile or the central deck, and then discard a card to your draw pile or to your discard pile. So you are trying to get to the point that you think you have the strongest hand, and if you assume you have the strongest hand, when it comes around, you can go for a try, put
Right.
down your cards, and then other people can either decide to play if they have a higher set to play or pass. And then if you succeed in winning that, you'll get a point. I think it's first to 3 points wins. But there's this whole thing where if you assume that another player has a set, you're like, I think they have. I saw them, they pick up 2 different threes from different places. I think they have a
Right.
set of threes. You can call it Jack and basically accuse
Right.
someone of having a
Jacques.
set. Jacques.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they do indeed have a set, then you will get a point for the correct accusation. I think if they're incorrect, then they get a point.
Yeah.
So there's like
So
a
you
little
don't
bit.
want to just do it willy-nilly.
Yeah, so it's just trying to get like the strongest hand you can and trying to time up like when to go for your try. Try not to be too obvious about what you're getting. Very light and stuff, but I enjoyed it.
It was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed the little bit of deduction, and sometimes you're like, and just like, and it's like, it's just fun. It was
Yeah,
good.
it was a light good time.
Played Shug.
Shug, baby. We did.
Shug, baby.
We played that on the channel.
Yeah.
This is a game that
Gotta get Shug to the tavern.
You're trying to get Shug to the.
It's so
Shug to the
British.
pub. It's so British.
This is
man.
a very British game.
So British,
Yeah.
dude. But yeah, it's just like labor of love. These 2 brothers who are run an animation studio now.
It's a game they made as kids.
Game they made as kids
Yeah.
and stuff, and then they recreated all the drawings they used to make and stuff, and it's just super funky, weird art, like
Super like surrealist,
wild,
kind of gross, weird.
kind of
It's
gross.
very cool art, but it's weird, but in a good way, you know?
Yeah, super weird, really out there and unique, which is fantastic. And it's kind of a roll and move game. You're rolling and moving your peasant around up to the amount that you roll. And there's certain things that might allow you to get bonus rolls and stuff. And you're kind of moving along these pathways. But if you move off the path, you will encounter a monster who you will either have to fight or do some sort of real life activity.
Yeah.
Like one of them is I had to hold my breath for
For a minute. Yeah, a whole minute.
or one I had to like silently count to 30 and I had to be within 1 second of 30
Yeah.
to succeed, and I just barely missed it. And just silly stuff like that. To be able to acquire the monster as a friend, which gives you more strength and maybe abilities and stuff. And you're going around these different runes and you're trying to find Shug. Each of these runes will pertain to one of these legendary
Right.
creatures that you can get and get these kind of game-breaking powers, and one of which is Shug. If you find Shug, you need to get to the pub as quick as possible to win. There's also a king you can kill, but they have like strength 100 or something. They're crazy strong, but that's another way to win. But it's just like completely irreverent and silly.
Yeah.
And with this wild art, and you're just doing, like spoilers. Nick and I had to end on a staring contest. Like silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
It feels very kind of like Quelf. you
Yeah, it's
know?
very quelfy, but with the game around it. It was
With the game around it and like super fun, cool art. It's just really,
Really
unique
fun.
and stuff. You have to be
Yeah.
down for it to be like
Yes.
a party game adjacent thing, but like honestly, it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I had a good time with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like
That was one of the most fun game
That's what I'm
experiences
saying,
we've
like,
ever had.
go watch the playthrough. I think it's probably the funniest and funnest playthrough we've ever done.
Yeah.
Like again, it's not my favorite game we've ever played on a playthrough, but like in terms of just like laughs and crazy crap happening, it's probably number 1. It was insanely fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it's again like it's a silly thing. It's not the deepest game ever, but it was a good time. But it's got cool original
it's
art and
fully
like
executing what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy and silly.
yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Next up is Stonks.
Starks.
This is a trick-taking game we played with our family plays games and our dear friend Charlie, who we've talked about a bunch. This is a trick-taking game we really wanted to play where
Charlie's a connoisseur of trick takers
Yes.
and often imports trick takers
Yes.
from Asia and stuff that haven't made their way over here
Yeah.
yet. So he always has fun stuff to try.
yeah, and this one is kind of normal trick-taking, except for there's these 4 stocks in the middle. There's the 5 stocks are the 5 suits of the
Yeah,
cards.
and the types of goods.
And so basically you are collecting these cards, which are basically going to have a certain amount of these goods on there. And then the stocks are constantly changing as you're playing the
Yeah,
game.
their value.
The players will get to move the stocks down or maybe move the stocks up and all this different kind of stuff. And at the end of the round, you're basically going to count like how many carrots do you have? And then you look at the carrot price. It's like $4. I have 3. I just made $12, that kind of thing. That's how you're scoring points. But it was really, really interesting because sometimes like me and Mike both want the same stock. So we're both like pushing it up and like Charlie was like trying to push it down and stuff like that. And it was really fun.
Yeah, it's a fun one where like you said, there's certain cards that allow you to shift
Yeah.
things up or down. Within each hand, things can only shift once, so you can't completely tank something. But the other thing that's interesting is
the
that
porous
there's
suit.
always a trump suit, and whatever stock, whatever type of good is currently the least valuable, that is now the most powerful suit.
Card, yeah.
And that can happen mid-trick,
Yeah.
where that changes, and now all of a sudden, oh, they played that blue fish card, and now they all of a sudden have the strongest thing because now what the valuable suits just changed. Super cool. If you win a trick, you can collect any one card that was played, including a card that's just drawn to the side. So you're trying to, get the right goods. But if people see you amassing a bunch of grass, they're like, well, okay, you're clearly, we can't have this be valuable. You got to bring that down. But you do seed with one or two cards at the start of the round, face down a couple of goods and stuff. It was a really fun.
really
This
fun.
was like, to me, you're bringing up earlier about trick-taking games that have too much going on. This is one that has a lot going on. You're shifting stuff, but it stays smooth.
Yes.
And I really like.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Like, this is probably my favorite of those types of trick takers.
Yeah.
Where there's gonna be like a lot of little extra moving parts. This one was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Again, it's one of those things where there was a lot going on. I mean, like the fact that the kind of most powerful suit can change like mid trick. It's like it was a lot, but it was easy to grok and just really, really fun. I liked Tax the Rich a lot. I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah.
Not Tax the Rich. Stonks.
Stonks.
I didn't like Tax the Rich. We'll talk about that in a second. Talk about Take That Toy, Mikey.
Take that toy. Take that toy?
It's called Take That Toy.
Take that toy?
With an exclamation point. Take that toy. The hell is that?
I don't know. Hang on. Hang on.
Knew it the whole time.
Huh?
You knew it the whole time.
I knew it the whole time, folks.
Look, we play a lot of games. Sometimes
Play a lot of games.
You get them confused. I could not remember what Recall even looked like.
So Take That Toy is another one of the card games we played on that first day in Iceland where like we'd been awake for a long time. So
Yeah.
it's like we give forgiveness here. You
Yeah.
know, we
Again, we
give
were
people
delirious.
space. But yeah, so this is a must follow trick taking game where you are playing out cards and essentially trying to win one of every suit of cards or like different toys, like cat toys. And you're trying to win at least one of each, and I think maybe the highest card possible of each. But if you end up collecting 4 or more of one type, you basically lose all those things. You're like hoarding all the toys. So you're just trying to like strategically win and throw off and stuff to win these different suits and stuff. And that's about all I remember.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, cool. Next was Tack the Rich. We're in the trick taking section right
Yes.
now. This is one that I didn't like because this one I felt like
This is
had
way too much going on.
much going on. Just way too much.
Did not understand what the
love the
heck
concept of
was
taxing the
happening.
rich. We should do that. But yeah, this
Absolutely.
game, there was like you're like trick taking, but then like based off of like what's in your hand, you can then like change the rules of it. Like you, basically, if you have a certain amount of cards, you can have like a revolution that happens.
Yeah, like if all the cards in your hand are these revolutionary cards or whatever,
you can like start this revolution, and then like the
then I
rules
think it's
change.
like low card wins.
It was too much. I just did not enjoy it. Again, it was one of the things. I think this was also at Spielman. I want to give it another shot because it's a
Yeah.
trick taking game. Like I want to like basically every trick taking game, but
I
like
think there was just too much going on, and it was it was late at night. It
felt
was
like I couldn't
just
do
don't
anything.
Think, yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I have any control over anything, and like maybe I just need to play a couple more rounds to like get that figured out. But I was in the same boat. I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I just know it's going bad.
Yeah.
for me, and like.
yeah, this is one of those ones that
You
just felt like
have
I'm
like a teammate, there's just
Yeah,
too
you
many
can, like,
things.
yeah, it's just I did not like it. It was too much. I was like, this is getting to the point where like this isn't a trick taking game anymore. It's just like this whole other big
Taxing
game.
the rich isn't a game. It's a thing that should be our reality.
That's true.
Okay, and that's where I want my taxing to be.
Yeah, you played a custom boarded version of Viking Chess.
Did so while in Iceland, I had the absolute honor of learning Viking chess.
Yes.
From a real Icelander.
That's true.
Who had his own board that was made by his wife, and it was so cool because he had like different, like beads and stuff for the 2-player, but like he had lost some, and so he just replaced them with pieces. It just felt so like this is how this game should be.
Right.
And Viking chess is a game where you're playing one of two sides, and they have different goals. One side is like you're trying to get the king off the board. The other side is trying to surround the king and trap them. And it's really straightforward. You're on in Viking chess, there's all sorts of different size boards and stuff. We're on like a fairly standard, normal size board, and you can take any one of your pieces and basically move as far straight in one piece. So like basically everything is a rook from chess.
Right.
You can move orthogonally one direction as far as you want to go until you bonk into something, or you decide to stop. And what you're trying to do is if my opponent has a piece here, I want a piece on either side. I want to sandwich them, and then that eliminates that piece.
Right.
The king, I think, has to be trapped on all four sides to be able to, because they're big and bad and whatnot. There are basically like these exits at the corners of the board and stuff. So if I'm trying to get to the king, I'm trying to make it so that I'm blocking off, because again, with the way they move, you have to go meh, meh, meh.
Right,
Like
right.
you can kind of see how many moves it'll take to get there, and you're trying to strategically block people. And like, it was great. It was super fun. Both sides feel different, because if you're on the king side, the king starts in the very middle and they're sort of safe. So you're trying to get things put out and then start moving your king around. I was just like delighted to learn about like the history of Viking chess a little bit while I played. Take a look at this. I got to learn about like there's all these different versions of Viking chess and stuff. It was super duper cool. Like I got an app for Viking chess. I've been playing it since, and like I don't know, it's just like a really special moment. Like I was like really moved by it. It was like really cool.
I'm glad I was invited.
And and Nick wasn't there, and that was the best part. It was really fun. I'll teach you sometime.
That's fine.
I'll teach you sometime. No, I'll teach you because I'm
Talk about Wanted Wombats, Mike.
Wanted Wombats. Just the dumbest game, but that was fine. It's a game where there's like different animals that are worth different amounts of money, and you're just trying to basically guess what's on the top of the deck. There's like things that are worth $1,000 and $3,000 and $5,000 and $15,000. Of course, there's a lot more ones and threes than there are 15,000s.
It really was just like guessing what's on top of the
100%.
deck.
And like there's some card counting to it because again, it's more likely to be a 1,000 or whatever. And you can see as cards come out, hasn't been a 5, it could be a 5. But you're literally just going like 3,000, flip
that's
it.
literally all it was.
If it's correct, you get to keep the money. If it's not, you like lose it or whatever. And like that's
It was, it's like,
it is.
Was it silly fun? Sure.
Yeah,
Like,
it was silly fun. I don't know if if there's really much of a game to it at all, but there is a little bit of card counting deduction you can do to be like, I think it's probably this, and then you're wrong anyway.
Guessing 10,000 every time though.
Yeah, but it was just
It's
like it was just silly. But we had fun playing. We had the right group for it for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing.
none of
Like,
us were
at a
worried
con-
about it being deep strategic experience.
Just silly stuff at a con. It's a perfect little game for that. All right, last one, Mikey, is Watergate, the Gate of the Water.
The Gated Water, man. So I finally got to play this. It's on Board Game Arena now. You played this
A while ago.
a hot minute ago, and really liked it. So I've played a couple games. I played once as Nixon, once as the reporters and stuff. And it's this like tug of war abstract game where you are playing cards either for kind of the value in their top corner, which will move these pieces of evidence or kind of like the initiative marker and stuff over to your side or back to Nixon's side, whatever your opponent's playing. Or you can play cards. You each have your own deck of cards. You can play cards for their event, which will be some sort of real world event or a real life person. And if you are the reporters, you are going to try to gain these pieces of evidence, which will be, I think, blue, green, or yellow, or a combo color. And you can then put them, if you gain them, out onto the board in the matching color. And you're trying to surround Nixon, essentially. You want to get him, trapped so that he can't get away with these Watergate crimes. If you're Nixon, you're basically trying to outlast your opponent, and there's a certain marker, I can't remember its name, where if you claim it each round, it kind of goes onto your card, and if you get like 5 of those or something, you've sort of lasted long enough to win, and you're also trying to block off the evidences. I should say, with Nixon, you're not trying to surround him. There's basically reporters on the edge, and you're trying to get reporters connected to Nixon. You're trying to like connect the dots, essentially. So as Nixon, you're trying to block off those paths and stuff and make sure that that doesn't happen. Man, it was. I really enjoyed it. I really want to play it in person with you and like
we have it. Yeah, we should play it.
and get into, because I was just something where I was just like, man, I feel like I don't.
It's hard.
I was playing against someone who's played it a bunch, and I was just like, how do I, like, all the pieces are just all on their side. Like, how do I get them onto my side? Like, what am I doing wrong? And so, like, I think I need to investigate the cards more and figure out like how to use those abilities and stuff. And certain cards, if you use their ability, now they're now out of the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's a really fun game. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Tug of war kind of game about a very interesting moment in history. And it plays out well in this kind of abstract way.
Yeah, for being like an
It's
abstract
pretty
game,
cool.
it's quite thematic, and it's
Yeah.
cool that everything's real world events and like
Yeah.
things, real people. It's very, very cool. So it's one of those. A lot of times those games are like bigger games, like Twilight Struggle. So it's like it's cool to see like a smaller
Yeah,
version of a
exactly.
game that's like that. These kind of historical games. It's really, really cool. I want to play it again.
Yeah.
That's it, y'all. That was like 50, I think,
50
games.
games?
Almost all new or have not played in a very, very long time. Yeah, thanks for being here for Relax Reviews. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. We just like to kind of wax poetic about games, so hopefully you're enjoying it. If you are, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and thank you for watching all the way through. We really appreciate it.
We sure do. We
It
hope it
matters
helped
a
you
lot.
get through your workday, if nothing else. That'd
Yeah.
be very great for us. So if you're new to us, yeah, please consider subscribing. We'd appreciate
Pick
that.
up some merch.
Get some merch, put it on your body.
on your body.
And yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Let us know what you've been playing, what's been really hitting for you, what's been missing. Get those in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.